Oh, right when I switch over, Vegas drops. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dire Roll Neosoma. Sorry for the late start, and obviously sorry for Vegas ruining everything. Molly will not be joining us this week, so I got a little MIA stamp on Chuck. But we will be carrying on with the four others. So we've got Big Joe, Roy, Hector, and Bill. Where we last left off. I gotta. There we go. There were some complaints last week after the stream. People were watching the VOD. They said that everyone other than me was kind of quiet, and I realized I had the audio -10 on my slider here, so I just put them at 0, and that should have fixed that. So if there's any audio issues, if they're too loud now, please let me know in the Steam chat, and I'll try to adjust it on the fly. But it should be good to go. So last week, we introduced everyone to the world of Neosoma. It is a post-apocalyptic 1950s United States and southern Canada. And that's the area we're in. And crazy, weird things are happening. There's other species from another world. There's magic. Our character Big Joe, he is a Joelite, which is this 15-foot tall kind of animal humanoid ish kind of hybrid. And they are a group of survivors. It's 5 years after the apocalypse. Nature has awoken. Nature with capital N is basically a sentient entity with a malevolent bent for everything human and all the other species that came from otherworld. And we got to see a little bit of the destruction that nature has wrought in these last 5 years. And the party was traveling, and they found a Canadian bunker built recently during the time of the other war, when the people from the other world came through and there was this violent clash. They found some weapons, and they also found a prototype video recording device, which had a video of a peaceful kind of log cabin lodge in the Rocky Mountains in northern Montana, with an audio track encouraging humans to come, and it'll be safe. Though skeptical, the party has decided that what else are they going to do? And so they are trying to make their way. They're currently in southern Ontario. In fact, they're currently in Toronto, just leaving Toronto, or at least the ruins thereof. And they are headed west towards the Rocky Mountains. Their biggest hurdle right now, aside from the various dangers and all that, is making sure they have enough gas for the journey. They've increased their fleet of vehicles from 2 to 3, adding Flip's truck. Flip being a survivor they met, who is more than a little crazy. They had an encounter with the servants of Tornade, and they are entering his domain, and that's where we left things off.
Yep, after making new friends.
Now, we're going to go ahead and start things off. I mentioned last week that there was a second game aspect, and I did add Loaded for Bear, but that's more of a game boost. So the second game aspect, I'm going to go ahead and put it on the board. I'm trying to get the zoom on Roll20 just right so it looks good when I flip you guys over. Yeah, sure, why not? We'll do that. So I'm going to bring the audience over there, and let's go ahead. I don't really have enough room, so I'll just kind of put Loaded for Bear at the bottom here. Copy it. I'm going to add the Dangerous Road. And that is the second game aspect. Permanent game aspect. And that can be invoked for any kind of circumstances involving your journey towards the Rocky Mountains. I can invoke it. You guys can invoke it. You can make it. You guys can fit it narratively however you want. But just that's setting a global precedent that this is a rough time. So not only do we have Nature's Scorn, where nature can get involved and screw everybody up, but also just this is a perilous journey, and that's what that aspect represents. Chuck got an extra fate point, but Chuck isn't here, so Molly gets to keep that one until next session. And everyone else is reset to 3, and I will be bumping down to 4 because there's only 4 of you. let's go ahead and kick off our first scene. Let me take a quick swig of olive oil here.
We do love that olive oil.
Get that reference? You're a long-time viewer. Okay.
Long-time viewer, first-time caller.
New phone, who dis? You guys have just driven out of the ruins of Toronto. You're putting the kind of buried and scrapped, destroyed, reshapen carcass of a city behind you. And you're driving across what appears to be this kind of like desolate, almost desert-like area. The lakes surrounding this area have risen and have become, level with the ground around it. And in this area used to, in the old world was very green and lush and good farmland and all that. But now it's just kind of a barren, like what you would see out of a spaghetti western of the old west, tumbleweeds and dead trees and a little bit of craggy, uneven terrain, but not enough that you guys can't navigate a safe route for all three vehicles and the trailer. However, as you guys are driving through this, and Toronto starts disappearing just as a speck behind you, Big Joe, as you're jogging alongside the vehicles, you feel a tingle in the air, and I'm gonna go ahead and as I tell you this, I'm gonna go ahead and fill in a new situational aspect. You realize that this whole area, the further you get along it, the more you realize it. Like your hair stands up on end. This place is charged with altar magic.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I've added an aspect for altar magic. This is Tornade's turf.
Big Joe will kind of motion for the convoy to stop, which, as we discussed last week, we've languorously come to some sort of agreement on what those signals are. So he enacts it. And once the vehicles start stopping, he's going to turn to Roy and say, "There is something in the air that is giving me the willies."
And as if on cue, suddenly the wind starts to pick up and swirl around the convoy, and Big Joe can feel the wind kind of whipping past him, and his hair, what he has, starts to just kind of ferociously bend, and the side view mirrors on the vehicle start to rattle, and just before you, maybe 200 feet, starts to coalesce a cyclone as dust starts to pick up and clouds have rolled in, and just it's starting to connect right in front of you.
And in the back of the caravan, you hear a familiar voice that says, "Of course things would get worse."
Shut up, Bill.
Starting right away with it.
All right. Remind me after the stream. I need to add a command for my bot for shut up, Bill.
Damn it! No.
Yep.
Once the tornado starts to coalesce, and take shape, Big Joe just looks at him and is like, "I swear that is not me. I did not summon this. This just seems to be very a poorly timed occurrence."
All right, Big Joe, go ahead and give me a notice check. You are overcoming with a opposition of 2.
Woo! First roll of the night.
That's a 4. So you succeeded with 2 shifts. You notice coming down from the clouds, like inside this cyclone, you look towards it and you see the shape of a Joe-lite. He has a humanoid form, but he seems to be made of the very cyclone he's currently inhabiting. And because you succeeded, you have a moment before he touches down and starts whatever he's about to do some kind of action to spur the convoy into some kind of action.
He is going to turn towards them and just say, "Fly, you fools!"
I would try to look at the terrain and maybe find a spot where we could be protected from the winds or have a more advantageous position.
Do you want to try to create an advantage?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's a tornado or something like that. I haven't seen whatever's in there, so yeah, we're gonna get out of the way.
All right, go ahead and give me a notice check. And we'll do a. I mean, this is as the aspect is states. This is Tornade's turf, so I'm going to give you an opposition of 3 on that.
Okay. Ew.
Okay, that's a 0.
Man,
You rolled a -1 with your +1. That flats out to a 0. So you can either take the L or try to spend some fate points to change that.
yeah, fate points wouldn't help at this point. I don't see myself being able to invoke more than once.
Or remember, you
So
can
I would-
reroll.
I, nah, I don't think I should reroll this result. I wasn't expecting such a high opposition.
Okay. Well, you did a create advantage and you failed. I think that just means nothing happens. Or the aspect gets created, but you don't get any.
Or I could succeed with a minor
Cost.
consequence, like giving a boost to minor cost, giving a boost.
I don't
to
think in this circumstance succeeding at a cost makes a lot of sense. This is something that either is going to be helpful to you or it's not. So
It's fine
I
with
think
me.
it's just going to be a fail. Yeah, you either don't create an aspect or you create it, but someone else gets a free invoke. I think if someone else got a free invoke, then you wouldn't have succeeded in all. So let's just say you don't create the aspect. So everyone, new guy, Vegas, you guys can each do 1 action because we were forewarned by Big Joe before we start kicking off this kind of conflict. It's not really conflict, but challenge.
Okay, so just brief situational awareness. We've got the station wagon, the Winnie trailer. We've got the truck, and we've got what was the third car?
The third car is a car that has the trailer hitched to it. Actually, no, the
truck.
the hitch is now attached to the truck, so you just have a
Right.
car, just like a sedan, a late 1930s sedan.
All right, so and one of the survivors was driving one car. Chuck was driving the station wagon. Flip is driving the truck, right?
think Bill
Apparently, I'm driving the car.
Yeah, Bill is driving.
You're driving. Oh, okay. Okay, so I would assume then I would probably be in the truck with Flip and thus the trailer. So what I'd like to do is kind of I'm not familiar with trucks of the era. Did they have the solid back windshield, or did they have the where you could open the window?
Well, this would be an early 30s truck.
So probably solid.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm just going to go ahead and roll the window down and scamper out into the bed of the truck and ready the Sten.
Okay. Do you want to take an action though? I mean, like that's what your character's doing, but do you want to try to create an advantage? Do you want to? I suppose that's the only thing you really do at this point. Or do you want to just be like your character's on standby? You don't have to take an action for everything if you don't have something for it.
Well, I mean, the only thing I could think of would be really like athletics to steady myself in the back of the truck given the wind so that I'm getting like a good steady shot at whatever's coming.
You want to anchor yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a athletics check to overcome, and we'll make it opposition of 1 because I don't think it would be that hard to get yourself fixed. Okay. You created advantage.
Yeah,
and
6.
You got a 6, which beat it by 5, which means you succeeded with style. So you're going to create an aspect.
All right. Oh, okay. So now I need to come up with an aspect.
Yeah. And you're going to get 2 free invokes, whatever you choose.
All right. So with that, I would say.
Not every aspect has to be witty. You can just be, well.
No. That's yeah. Let me see. I would say like. Well. There you go. Well anchored. I was gonna try and come up with something. I like well anchored though. Let's go with that.
Okay, well anchored. There you go. That's a situational aspect, and Roy, you have 2 free invokes on that.
Okay.
So just to reiterate, Jaken, we have a cyclone that's starting up in front of us,
Yeah.
and we have this this otherworldly creature, similar to Big Joe, that is showing up. Where did he show up?
He's about 200 feet in front of you.
Is he on anything particular, or
Yeah, he's on a
just in front of me?
tornado.
Oh, he's on top of it.
He's coming down through it. Yes.
Okay, and I have 1 action to deal with that, and I'm driving the car. So, do I want to stop driving the car?
Well, the cars came to a stop per Big Joe's instruction. So the convoy's at a halt.
Okay, let me look at my skills, because
And Hector is probably frantically trying to convince people to find shelter, but he can't find it himself. He's like, I don't know where we could go. Find shelter.
Hector's in the station wagon, right? I think we established that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, everybody get down. Get low.
Get down! Ah!
I don't have sneak, but I could open an opportunity for me to sneak closer, and it would be a means to avoid any possible consequences of finding this guy, because he's scaring me right now. So I would like to try and roll notice so that I can hopefully get out of the car and sneak away on the edge of the battle. Because I'm going to assume that it's a battlefield. My guy's going into, it's most likely going to be a fight. Odds are that this is going to be a fight.
Okay, so what are you trying to do? You're creating an advantage to what?
I would like to roll notice to try and find a path on the edge of the battlefield so that I can hopefully give myself advantage on sneaking up on the guy in case there's a fight.
So you're doing what Hector was trying to do. You're picking up that torch. Okay, go ahead. I gave him an opposition of 3, so that's what you're gonna have.
So right now it's a tie.
It's a tie. So you will create the aspect. I think you still get, with a tie on a crate, I think you still get a free boost on it. Let me go ahead and check that.
You get a
When
free
you
boost
tie, you get a boost instead of a situational aspect. So you can give yourself a boost, which is like a one-time
Boost to
invocation, and that is it.
Yeah, it would be a +2 to sneak, essentially. And if I invoke one of my aspects, it would be a +2, which would bring me to what again?
That would create an aspect, and you would have 1 free invocation of it. Bear in mind, objectively speaking, you're trading something for the same thing. So I would just take the boost.
If you give +2, it's 2 shifts, so it's 2 free invocations.
No, it's not per shift. It's succeeding. If you succeed with style, which is 3 shifts or more, you get the 2 free.
Yeah. But no, I agree with.
Okay.
I agree with Jaken. Right now, I'm rather take the boost because maybe it won't turn into a fight.
All right. So what do you want to name this boost?
Off the beaten path.
I'll put the boost over here. There's an aspect anyone can mess with, but since it's a boost, it's just for you. So I'm gonna move that over there in your cart. Okay. All right. This I assume you. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about your objective is to escape, or are you trying to fight this guy?
I voted for escape.
That's what it sounded like, but I wanted to make sure we were all on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Roy as Captain Commander.
I kept my thing both defensive and escape worthy, like I'm sneaking off, but if needs be I can just run back and flee with it.
I could always pick up driving and leave you there.
All right, so this is going to be done. I think it's going to be done in a challenge format. So this is going to be a series of checks that you guys are making to basically avoid Tornade. And he is trying to destroy you guys with tornadoes. So as Bill calls down the line that he spots a route, and you kind of I mean, the engine's already on, so you just pull out a formation to take the lead because you see a path, and the convoy starts following you. Tornade, as you assume he is, comes down, and as his feet touch the ground, with his hands he pushes the tornado off of him towards you, and it just kind of starts screaming, tearing through this dusty terrain headed towards you. And even as it's flying towards you, he's already coalescing wind into his hand to form a new one. Big Joe, I assume you're just, as best you can, following the convoy.
Yeah.
They're gonna probably start accelerating, so you're gonna probably start sprinting.
Yeah. And to aid in this, like, let's get out of here, Big Joe will get behind the slowest of the vehicles, probably the truck and trailer, and start pushing.
Yeah, get the trailer going. Give it a jump start, basically.
And otherwise, like must go faster, must go faster, must go faster.
All right, so this is kind of like, it's not really a conflict, but it's not really a challenge. So what we'll do is I'll give every one of you one action, and then one or more of you will have to defend against Tornade. So you guys got a free action to set up because Big Joe succeeded his notice. So now we're officially in the event, and so which one of you wants to go first? Roy, since you're team leader, I'll let you go first.
So what I was planning on doing, since we're clearly going the escape route, and I've got the Sten, I'm just going to go ahead and just hunker down and unload into suppression mode on Tornade to kind of get him off of his balance so that he's not able to effectively attack.
Okay. So you're not trying to overcome the what you're trying to overcome as a group is to escape. So that would be to create an advantage. Okay, you're trying to suppress him, distract him. Okay.
Yep.
So go ahead and make a shoot check, and then let me go ahead and figure out what his opposition to that would be. Let's just call it 3. Let's call it 3.
Okay. Rolling shoot. That's a 3.
It's a 3. So right now, you are creating a boost.
That's exactly what I was looking for.
Cool. Let's go ahead and put another boost down. What do you want to call it?
We're gonna call that Tornade off balance.
I don't need the little invocation marker for a boost. Once it's used, I'll just delete it. Oops. So, there you go. We're not off balance. Alright, who's next?
Well, it would be easy for me. I would take position in the station wagon and try to do basically the same thing, but with a gun. Trying to shoot him, distract him, ensure he takes cover instead of pursuing.
Okay, well, a Sten is a gun. Got it. Okay, so you're doing the same. So everyone's just kind of unloading at this guy. All right, go ahead and do the same thing. What?
Oh, I thought Big Joe does have something he want to try.
Okay, well, we'll do Big Joe next. So Hector, go ahead and give me a shoot. Your opposition is 3. Okay,
That's a 5.
you succeeded. So you are creating an aspect.
Crippled Tornade.
All right.
I probably shot him in the leg.
Yeah, so you kind of ricocheted some rounds or got some grazes on him because you were just kind of you rolled down the window and you're just firing into a tornado. So some rounds kind of went flying and maybe it cut him across the brow and blood's going to his eyes and he is distracted. All right. So you said
I do use an automatic firearm. I'm not sure.
You're not making an attack.
Oh, right. That's right.
So what was the aspect one more time?
Crippled Tornade.
Okay, and you have 1 free invocation.
And since I'm driving, I can't really shoot myself.
I think Big Joe wanted to go next.
Yeah, go ahead, Big Joe.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Because I was gonna say, in my case, all I'm gonna do is keep rolling notice to try and find a way to escape this guy, like maybe a pad that could allow us to get even quicker away from him or something. Is that something worthy?
Yeah,
And I
that would
could
be
invoke-
overcoming. That you are overcoming against trying to escape.
Yeah, and I'm gonna use the boost off the beaten path as well, but I'm gonna roll first where I fully use that. Why
Right.
did I close my sheet? Can you tell me why I closed my sheet?
I don't know. You tell me, bud.
I'm
All right,
an
let's
idiot.
say I'm just
Aliens.
I'm ad hocing some chase rules here. So let's
Okay.
say if you get to 3 successes, then you guys have escaped Tornade. And if you get a succeed with style, that counts as 2 successes. And I was gonna set the difficulty to 3. Well, you're rolling. No, that's Bill Barker. You're rolling. No, I think you would have to roll drive because
Okay.
you're actually driving away from the. Okay, so your target is 3. So you rolled a 1. You're failing by 2 right now.
I'm gonna use a boost off the beaten path because we're already using it, so that's gonna be a plus.
All right, so you're tying it.
Yeah, and hold on, I'm gonna go see if I can invoke an aspect.
Okay. I have a suggestion.
Yeah, bark and no bite, most likely.
Yeah, that would definitely work for trying to run away.
Yeah, and, trying not to get hurt. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna invoke bark and no bite to add another +2 to the.
Okay.
And essentially, just to go along with bark and no bite, you're gonna see Bill going like, shit! I already don't like pain, but I definitely don't want to get hit by a.
All right. So Bill, leading the convoy, has put some distance between the incoming tornado and you guys, and putting even more distance between you and Tornade. All right, Big Joe.
So, having given the trailer kind of a push as the truck starts to pick up speed, and knowing that we're not going to outrun a tornado at this rate, Big Joe is going to turn around and plunge his fingers into the earth and try and coerce some of the spirits of the earth to aid him. And he's going to try to create, use his magical gifts and create a stone wall.
Okay.
To try and disperse some of the wind.
Okay, and since Alter is active, you can totally do that. Yeah, that'll be an overcome.
Okay.
Opposition 3.
Here we go.
Okay, yeah, that's a success.
Stonewalled.
Nice.
You good with that?
Opposition. Wait, you said opposition was 3, so 5. Damn, 1 off from. What's that?
Big Joe's kind of panicking right now, so I'd like to invoke my free thinkers are dangerous, because this is kind of a radical idea for him to just turn around like, oh, wind, okay, stone.
And also that your high concept came from the fact that you rebelled against other Joe-lites. So yeah, both of those working in tandem, I approve. All right, so that's going to make it a succeed with style. So you guys have successfully escaped, but I will go ahead and give Tornade his this is his action, and then the outcome of this, you guys escape. So you guys have successfully escaped, but he is going to, using his magic, he's going to throw that cyclone as close to you guys as he can get before you guys escape. So everyone needs to defend against this. I'm going to make a magic roll, and his magic is a +6. Yeah. Fortunately, any stress you guys gain from this will immediately go away. So basically, this is just like try to just keep yourself in the stress range. This, and then each of you will need to make a roll based on your position. So let me go ahead and take the fudge roll. So I got a 0, so he got a 6. So new guy or Bill, you will need to drive since you're driving away from this.
Yeah.
Roy, I think physique might be the right. Since you're just holding onto the vehicle.
Yeah.
Hector, probably also physique, to just kind of hold with not get jostled around in the vehicle. And then a Big Joe, you're on foot, so you can use athletics or physique, whichever one you.
Could I use magic, seeing as I'm pretty much creating a giant wall in front of me to try and
Since
build a stronger wall?
Magic can only be used defend against magic, so yes, you can use magic. Okay,
Sweet.
So there you guys go. Each of you make your rolls. He got a 6, so you're just trying to only take stress here. And if you just take stress, you guys get away, and it was a little stressful.
Yeah. So in this spirit, I'm gonna
Iso, what's up? Ooh, Bill, got a -1.
I'm gonna fill my last fair skill spot with physique for this one.
Okay. That does mean you gain your 3rd physique track.
And I need to invoke something.
I'm gonna wait till we all get resolved.
I would invoke the dangerous road.
Go ahead and get your rolls out, and then we'll go one at a time at who's improving it or not.
Okay.
So hold off on invoking anything, Hector. And we'll do it in the order of roll. So we'll start with Bill. Okay, Bill, -1. You're losing by 7, so you're taking 7 stress. You can't soak that with the box. So what's your plan here?
So either I could try to re-roll by invoking an aspect.
Yeah, your roll was
If
a
I
-2, so that's a reroll would statistically be better.
Yeah, and on top of that, if I get, let's say I re-roll or I get a +2 using one of my aspect, that would bring me to, let's say, 1. What would 1 be? That would be 5 instead.
Yeah,
Right?
1 would be 5.
And I don't have the physical stress to get 5, I believe.
I don't think anyone has the 5th stress box on. Yeah.
So, okay, so no matter what, I'm kind of screwed to get the stress, so I would have to take the consequence.
This is the first time you guys have taken, or potentially taken, a large load here. So let me go ahead and kind of break down the difference between stress, consequences, and how they work in tandem. So you have your stress boxes on your sheet. I'm going to go ahead and, since I need to adjust something on Hector's, unless he did it for himself, I'll use Hector as my example. Yeah, so your physique now goes up to max 3. That's all I need to change. All right, so when you take stress, after you've made your defense roll and it's finalized, so this is incoming stress, you can check a stress box, take a consequence, or do both. But you cannot check multiple stress boxes, and you cannot take multiple consequences. And 0 or less has to be left over from those two options. If more is left over, you're taken out, which means whoever dealt the damage, in this case, GM Jakin, gets to decide what happens to your character. Period. So in this case, right now, since Bill Barker will be taking 7, your physical stress is at your highest is a 2, right?
Yep.
So in order to get rid of that, he'd have to check the 2 box on his stress and then take there are 3 + 1, so there's 3 consequences levels you could take, and then there's a 4th one that's really bad. So the consequences are 2, 4, 6, and then there is an 8, which counts for 8 points. But what it does is it permanently replaces one of your character aspects.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how bad it is. It permanently replaces it. So in this case, you can take a 2 checkbox, and then you can use your consequence 6 down, which I believe is called severe. They're named, I think it's minor, major, and severe for your consequences. And that one, and the more difficult the consequence is, the harder it is to get rid of as the game progresses. So now we come back to you with wanting to spend some fate points here.
Yeah, so if I spend a fate point, I can increase it to, let's say, let's assume the best, and I increase it to 1. That would make it 5. Then I could check the 2 and get a 4 consequence. Right?
Yep.
If I don't do that, I check the 2, it's a 5, then I take a 6. So it's still a better deal off to try and do this fate point. Now the question is, should I take the +2 or should I reroll? You say stats-wise it's better to reroll, and I'm a gambling man.
Okay.
A reroll, yeah, definitely.
So Bill Barker sees that tornado coming toward him with no intent to just brush by him, wave his hair a little, and just like be on its merry way. So he's gonna try to hunker down inside the vehicle as he's getting probably thrown around like a. I'm gonna invoke Bark and No Bite to reroll.
Okay. It fits. I wish you picked a different one, but it fits. Well, it is better.
Okay, and then that would
You got
be
a 0
right
now
now it's a 6.
from a -1. Yeah, so now you're taking 6.
I check physical 2 and I take a consequence.
Consequence 4. Okay, now we do have a house rule in effect that a consequence 4, to recover from it, you have to downgrade it first to a 2, and then it goes away. And if you take a consequence 6, it can only be treated by someone who has lore. Okay, so you're going to take a consequence 4. So basically, I'm going to say you guys get away, because if you guys got stuck to this tornado, you're dead. But since he's kind of gunning to cut you off with the tornado, even though you're escaping, your car gets lifted and thrown forward by your own momentum. And then when you land, you kind of smash into the steering wheel. And so your consequence needs to reflect basically, maybe you can say like broken nose or something like that.
Probably a concussion.
Concussion works.
Yeah, I'll go with concussion. So moderate concussion.
Oh yeah, what are the steps there? Mild, moderate, severe. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now Tornade gets a free invoke of that consequence, but since this is the only thing happening, oh well. All right, so that resolves Bill's. Hector, you got a 2. He got a 6.
So basically, yeah, we're probably behind Bill's car, and I would either invoke Crippled Tornade, saying that my clipping him in the leg kind of threw his aim off, and the walls from Big Joe also deflecting the tornado makes it so it doesn't hit us fair in the flank. So I would hit my head, but less severely than I would have otherwise, and I would give myself a +2 with this one.
So that gives you a 4, and since you got a 6, you could just check your stress box on 2. So you got bumped, but nothing permanent.
Yep.
Okay. Big Joe, you got a 3. He got a 6.
I'm just gonna check my 3 off on my physical.
Cool. And last but not least, Roy, you got a 2. He got a 6.
So, considering that the crippling of Hector and the bouncing off the wall of Big Joe, I'm gonna go ahead and use my Tornade off balance boost because he didn't quite get it right because he shook himself up, and then because I am well anchored when the tornado does hit, I'm actually able to hunker down and stabilize myself. So I'm going to invoke that for a +2 as well.
Okay, so yeah, with those free invocations, you just negate it, so you're good.
Yep.
And Iso, you were saying, you could just call them by their by their character names. If I call them by the names I know them off camera, it's just because I'm still learning their character names. But I will refer to them by their character names going forward, as soon as I get it in my thick skull. But if any of you players want me to add on your bracket your off camera name, just let me know. But let's keep going. All right, so that's that. So describing the scene, Tornade has been basically kind of scratched up by bullets as you guys have been opening fire on him, and you guys are getting away, and he's hurling this tornado at you, which kind of lifts up Bill's car and sends it kind of launching almost like a rocket, like 100 feet in front of everyone. However, just before the tornado gets too close, where it's over and it picks up your whole convoy, Big Joe slides to a halt and slams his fingers into the ground, and a wall of stone shoots up, and the tornado smashes into it and disperses. And before Tornade can coalesce, another tornado, Big Joe turns, starts sprinting, the cars just pedal to the metal, and you guys get safely away from him. Good job.
Yay!
Yay!
Alright, I'm going to leave Alter Tornade's Turf, because Tornade's Turf is a large area. So until you guys leave this area, you guys will be... That aspect will be in effect.
And now we should probably find a safe spot, because first we need to look at Bill. He's swerving a lot right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah, I'm not doing well.
and maybe I need to take a look at both the car and the driver.
All right, so is it consensus that once you guys are you feel like you're safe away from Tornade, you guys come to a stop?
Yeah, we need to recollect.
Okay.
So I would rush to Bill's side and ask him, "How are you, buddy? That was a pretty big jump you did there."
Bill, given his concussion, is probably not entirely glassy eyed, but like he's staring ahead. He's holding the wheel. He did stop the car because everybody stopped, so he kind of followed the jib. But like you can tell he's not entirely there, and he looks tired.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do my usual medic stuff. I'm gonna get him out of the car. We're gonna take some air, fresh air, take a walk. Let me check up on you, friend.
He follows, but he's wobbly on his feet, still kind of dazed.
Yeah, so I'm gonna use my lore. Well, my lore skill to check up on him medically.
You don't need to make a skill for that because there's nothing you can do mechanically for him at this juncture. You could just say, using my medical knowledge, I look him over.
All right, yeah, that's what I do.
All right, so that doesn't take more than like 10 minutes. So while they're off doing that, the Bill's like navigator, kind of co-pilot there, sitting in the front seat of the vehicle. He's got a map of North America, or probably more regional, but obviously it's not accurate anymore because the world has shifted a bit. But you guys have been using it for relative location, and he approaches Roy, and he says, Roy, so I've been doing the math, and based on the fuel we got from Toronto, I think we can get to Detroit, assuming there is a Detroit, but we need to refuel there.
I mean, that's probably going to be our best bet anyway. That's is that the next major city on our path?
He looks down and he's like, I mean, pretty much there's supposed to be a lot of towns and smaller cities, but yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, in that case, absolutely. Let's follow along kind of as the crow flies best we can. And if we see anything promising along the way, we'll kind of make a judgment call at that point on whether it's worth it to divert off to go check and see if we can pick up some extra fuel there. But I think Detroit's going to be our best option. Good looking out. Good job, man.
Yeah, it was okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'll let the drivers know.
Clap him on the shoulder. Yeah.
All right, so Bill,
leader guy.
You got a concussion, right? Is that?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe you had like a scratch that you put something on, but no profuse bleeding, I reckon. But you're a little jogged. But regardless, you think you can drive, so the word goes out that you guys are headed for Detroit. Hopefully, maybe ? Question mark. You're headed in that direction. You're muted.
With the map, it'd probably be Windsor, but as Windsor and Detroit are pretty much separated by the Detroit River, so.
Oh, okay.
But I just want to do, just before we take off, while they're discussing, Big Joe has now come to a halt, and he is breathing heavily. He's covered in bruises and a little bit of like scratches, superficial wounds. He's just like, that was rather scary, but at least I guess we know why they call him Tornado.
Yes, correct.
I'm just sad that Jackson had to get destroyed.
Jackson?
Yeah, the spirit that I talked to make the stone wall.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Are you saying
yes? I'm sorry, Ms. Jackson.
Are you saying Stonewall Jackson?
I certainly am.
Plus 5 DKP.
That was nice. That was nice.
Minus 50 DKP.
Yeah, I don't think we're ready for another encounter with this guy. Unless you have some more tricks up your sleeves.
He's gonna look in his sleeve. Do not believe so, but I will keep you apprised.
All right, please do that.
We are
He's
still
gonna-
in. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, he's shaking his head, but probably that Big Joe doesn't know this.
We are still in his domain. I don't know what word to use. I am still getting the tingly feeling, the essentially like that, being around like an electrical generator where it's now hair standing on end kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sweet. So it is possible that he could arrive at any moment and probably summon more tornadoes.
That is a discouraging prospect. Maybe we're ready to keep driving. I'm gonna inquire with the others, and Hector's gonna go back in the wagon, ready to roll.
Yeah, there's a general consensus among the other survivors that the sooner we leave this area, the better. And so you all pile back into the convoy, and you start once again across this desolate terrain in the direction that someone's compass should lead you to Windsor. And as you drive, every now and then, to your left or to right, or sometimes both, you see a tornado touch down and kind of just tear across the land. Some people are whispering that maybe Tornade is searching for you, but regardless, you manage to evade him if that is the case. And eventually you come upon an area of heavy woods. There does appear, after a cursory kind of, as you approach it, that there is a path. It's not a paved road, but it does appear to be a vehicle path cut through the woods that is leading into in the direction you want to go. And Roy, is that satisfactory?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the convoy turns that way, and you start driving. And as soon as you enter the woods, like as soon as the dusty, desolate wasteland gives way to woods, that tingly feeling goes away, Big Joe.
Just to let you all know, we are no longer in his domain.
I'm gonna let the other survivors in the same car as myself that by domain he means turf.
That's a metagaming. No, just kidding. Alright. You drive maybe a quarter mile. And obviously Big Joe would probably see this sooner. But in the middle of this massive woods, this dense, tall, treed woods, you start to see what looks like a solitary mountain.
And so
just
you say
suddenly
mountain or
appeared
mound?
Mountain.
Okay, just want to make sure. There is a mountain, perhaps the Rocky that you were speaking of earlier.
No, Rockies. There's multiple of them. It's a mountain range known as the Rockies.
But this one is also rocky.
Well, granted.
I do not recall it being here ever. But he's gonna start trying to remember his geography.
I was really hoping that we were at this safe haven that we had been heading towards, this Erelon. Oh, I guess not.
Not yet. No, that's if we're headed to Montana, we still got a ways to go. But this is a lone individual mountain sticking up out of the woods. We said.
Yep.
That is interesting enough. Might be worth investigating, like the surrounding area.
What do you hope to find?
I should mention that assuming the path you're on takes no major deviations, you are headed right for it.
And it's not like there's an alternative road.
Right. This is an incredibly dense woods. You would have to get machetes to get the cars through.
Chainsaws.
Maybe if you had a
Looks like-
modern four-wheel drive, you might be able to navigate between trees, but these older cars, yeah.
I am all right with heading towards them. I can at least make amends and have a moment to speak to the spirits that inhabit this mountain to apologize for what happened to Jackson.
Fair enough.
I think we can take any kind of advantage at this point. And maybe we should also be careful, like maybe slow down and scout ahead.
Yeah, let's go ahead and give it a little bit of berth, or give it not a wide berth, but a medium sized, medium width berth, as it were. Let's check it out, but not necessarily get too close into it. Big Joe, you said you were wanting to commune anyway and speak with the spirits and make your apologies, give your condolences and whatnot. Why don't you go ahead and do that and see if you can get any information from them regarding this? Because if this is something worth avoiding, I want to know. If it's something worth going and hunkering down for a bit, I want to know as well. Get what you can.
There is one small problem with that. In order for me to do it, I would have to be on the mountain or right next to it.
I do have a question. Did you guys stop driving to have this conversation?
It would be more practical, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna need to take breaks every now and then for everyone to stretch their legs, go out and relieve themselves in the woods and whatnot. So yeah,
And
At
Flip
one of
has
And stop running.
Flip has a surprisingly small bladder. So
okay.
Damn it, Flip.
I am more than willing to talk to the spirits if they will listen, but it is something I will only be able to do once I am there.
Okay. Well, then let's get in a bit closer and give you that opportunity then.
okay, you guys pick up once again, and you don't drive long before you start to see some movement up ahead. And as you near, you see some human shapes kind of crossing the road. And as you get closer, you realize that there's a small clearing that looks like some kind of labor camp, probably a lumber camp, and what appears to be humans operating this camp.
Wait, like this is a inhabited camp?
Yep.
Let's let's head in and
Time to make some new friends.
yep.
And maybe sell a vacuum.
Do you still have it?
Probably do, somewhere in the caravan.
All right. As you guys near, you see that these lumberers look like industrial workers. They're wearing like overalls. That everything is kind of like caked and pressed with muck and grease and oil stains, and their faces are kind of smudgy. They don't look like someone who's spent their time in the woods. And they have what appears to be a retrofitted kind of stripped down flat trailer that has been configured to have 2 horses pull it instead of a like, you know, a truck. This would normally be like a truck trailer type of flatbed, but instead they've made it so that it's got a harness for 2 horses, and they're putting some lumber onto it. And as they see you approach, a pair of them kind of like dust themselves off and start walking your way. And one of them reaches over at some equipment that they've kind of piled up and grabs a rifle.
Freaking Big Joe.
Yeah, actually, that's kind of exactly where I was going with it too. I'll be very clear to, you know, hands up, wave, kind of, no hands on weapons. Keep my hands exactly where they can see them as I approach, and I'll kind of give a nod to. Let's not bring Big Joe in on this. I mean, obviously they can see him, but
Probably the first thing they saw.
He's a giant teddy bear, though.
Yeah,
they don't know that. They see Joe like
they don't. Right, and they're near Tornade's turf, so I'll be kind of Bill. Come on, we're going in. We're gonna talk.
Yeah, Bill also has his hands up, and just to show that he's also not willing to fight.
Hector's probably hanging back. He's not hiding himself. He has his rifle, but it's pointed down at the ground.
Okay. So, their pair and your pair kind of meet halfway. And the guy with the rifle kind of takes a step back to the unarmed man, who is still kind of like dusting off like just splinters and dust. And he's like, you guys come over from Canada?
That we are, friend.
What brings you our way?
Well, we're making a little detour down Detroit way, see if we can scrounge up some more fuel, get the convoy off to. We've got heading out to an enclave where it's safe. And
the two of them look at each other, obviously not really believing what you say. And then just before you can continue or they could say something, there's this overwhelmingly powerful humming noise coming from the ground itself. And everyone, it seems to be coming from the ground underneath all of you, across this entire stretch of cleared wood. And just like this, and you see the guy with the rifle, as soon as he starts hearing the noise, he just like, not in a sense of urgency, but just kind of instinctively kind of wraps his arms in a bear hug around his rifle. And then you see past him a bunch of guys step away from their vehicle, and the horses aren't hitched up at this point. They're off to the side. And then as the humming crescendos and reaches its peak, suddenly everything metal lurches towards the mountain. All the vehicles roll on their wheels. Hector, since you weren't ready for it, the gun in your hand goes flying out and flies maybe 25 feet in front of you, just towards the mountain, and everything just kind of lurches. And there's obvious surprise and a brief panic going on at the convoy. And as soon as the lurch happens, the humming subsides almost way quicker than it came. It was like this gradual build, and then it just kind of, plateaued. And as soon as it ends, the guy takes his rifle back into a normal stance, and then as if nothing happened. And then all the workers go back to loading the trailer.
I'm gonna run at my gun. I'm gonna strap it on my shoulder, and I'm gonna start taking notes. I have a notebook and a pen, and I'm flabbergasted.
And with his jaw about as low as his belly button, Bill's gonna ask the guys like instantly, not even turn order. He doesn't care about like the turn order of people's fingers. Is this a natural occurrence? Does this happen often?
The guy with the gun, who's kind of like collecting himself, he's like, it has been for the last 5 years. since their drop. How do you think that happened? And he points to what you assume is the mountain. And at this moment, you all look past him. And even Big Joe, especially Big Joe, actually, because there wasn't a lot of metal structures in the other world. But now that you're looking at the mountain under new context, although I suppose only really Bill and Roy, since you have this new context kind of brought up, you look past him and you realize that mountain isn't a mountain. It's a giant pile of metal and concrete that you just assumed was a mountain because you never beheld such a massive, just kind of pile, heap, if you will,
of rubble.
And from a distance, it looks like a mountain. You can't make out, the individual rusted metal bits. And then after he says that, and you guys kind of had this look of realization, the unarmed man who had talked to you before, he kind of like chuckles a little bit and he says, "Welcome to Mount Detroit."
Is that Detroit?
I mean, we call it Detroit. It was Detroit. Now it's a mountain.
And with a very kind of God damn it kind of tone, he's gonna turn to Roy. Hey, Roy. We're at Detroit.
You cut out there.
We are at Detroit.
Oh.
Just with that defeated tone of course, there's no freaking Detroit anymore.
Hector's probably gonna run up to the group. He's got his rifle shouldered, so I don't know how they're gonna react to that, but he's scribbling in his books, and he's coming with questions.
Okay.
He's very curious about a phenomenon.
And then before Hector arrives, and as you guys are processing this, the original speaker says, "Oh, we don't normally get a lot of people coming in from Canada. It's kind of dangerous that direction, and nobody really makes it."
Yeah, they've got some heavy weather.
That's, accurate.
So, I mean, fairly safe assumption then. Going to Detroit ain't gonna be very useful.
Well, it depends. You got anything to trade?
We've got a good bit of gear. Our supplies are kind of, we're using them for the entire convoy.
I'm gonna interject. Hector is coming in at this time, and he's gonna propose maybe you need repairs of some kind.
Well, that's why we're getting this lumber, is to keep the mine shafts going. But some people come by Detroit looking for metal. Foreman Carter usually sees those people.
And I mean, we have a very broad variety of skills in the caravan, given the people that are working with us here. So not only repairs, but if you have anything that we could help with in exchange for maybe a little bit of fuel, since Detroit is no longer a viable option, we would be definitely welcome to.
Oh, we got some fuel. Most of it we get from the coal fields, though.
Every little bit helps. Like I said, we're trying to stock up and keep heading on out towards Montana.
Tell them we are friends.
Joe,
he has no idea what the conversation is going on. He's just yelling that.
Roy's just gonna look over his shoulder and be like,
and then when you look back, they're both looking past you towards Big Joe, and they're like, "You got one of them giants with you."
Yes, we do. Big Joe is quite the friend. He's saved our skins more times than we can count.
Huh. Thought they were all kind of,
Well, no. So, you know what they say when you assume.
You make an ass of you and me.
I hadn't heard that.
Hey, it's a good one. Stop it. Somebody used it against me at work.
Of
No,
course.
Big Joe. Big Joe is he's very very loyal, very protective. He's like I said, he is a true friend. So not all of them are like that. Just like not all of us are good people.
Interesting. All right. Well, whatever. Doubt one Joelite would be much of a threat to Mount Detroit.
There you go.
How many guys are in your little bus tour?
Bus tour. We've got off the top of my head
16?
16, including Big Joe.
All right. Well, I can get the boys to move the trailer off the path.
Sorry,
if you guys
that was 11.
You guys
We're
wanna-
11 in the handout. Sorry.
Well, you're 11 plus the players.
So you
So
were right,
16.
16.
You.
All right. He's like, yeah, we can move the trailer to the side if you guys want to head on by.
That would be greatly appreciated. What do you guys want in trade for some of that fuel?
We'll let the foreman kind of dictate terms.
Fair enough. I appreciate the kindness and the hospitality you've shown thus far.
And just so that we don't do something silly with our vehicles, at approximately how many times, or like what's the time between those waves of like magnetic?
Oh,
Just so that we don't.
They're random, but there's usually at least an hour.
Oh, okay, so we don't have to worry too much. And again, I'm assuming the humming happens every single time, and we have a 3-5 seconds to.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Are they our friends yet?
Just gonna turn back around and again, big smile, thumbs up.
And then
We're
I'll go ahead
developing
and
our own sign language.
wave everyone in.
Okay. So the two of them go back to theirs, and they start moving the trailer to the side. And once they move it to the side, they start hitching the horses to it.
Big Joe is going to take a moment to introduce himself to all of his new friends.
All right.
And pretty much the same spiel. Even if they're standing right next to each other, he goes over it again and he says, I am Big Joe. Joe is not my real name, but I find you Earthlings cannot say my real name, so they keep calling me Big Joe, so Big Joe is my name. And I just want to say it is nice to have some new friends. So it is nice to meet you. And then he'll, like I said, even though they're right next to it, he'll go through the exact same spiel and then go through the exact same spiel and then try to shake their hands. But I mean, it's like, he's just like, okay.
And when he comes to Hector, Hector's just gonna slap him on the knees. Yeah. We've met.
And Bill, just to be safe, Bill will actually accompany Big Joe in his quest to meet everyone in this camp. Just because, you could get some people that are a little bit less friendly with a Joelite. So just to cool people off, like, it's okay, Big Joe, this one's special. Let's get to the next.
Huzzah, I am +1 special friend.
Right.
Just be careful, Big Joe. Never call yourself a friend with Ben.
Okay. So the convoy gets moving, and not long after you guys pass their little logging camp, they all kind of start coming in behind you guys back towards Detroit with their horse-drawn shipment of lumber. and it's not a long drive up to Detroit. However, everyone kind of notices that at this point you guys are starting to collectively run low on fuel. You'll not be able to go much farther once you arrive. You're muted, Vegas.
I know.
Oh. Oh. So that's how it is. For everyone listening, when we eventually get that going, he's just being a pantomime asshole. So just picture that.
No, I wasn't pantomiming. I was actually coughing.
Oh, okay, sure. Wink.
Get out.
Yeah, you gotta say everything we do now. All right. And eventually you guys arrive at the foot of Mount Detroit, and yeah, this is the once booming city of Detroit is now a mountain of metal and concrete, and at the foot here appears to have been. It's kind of hard to articulate, but imagine if someone went to like one of those large trash dumps and then just started building mine tunnels through it.
Yeah, that's clear enough.
Yeah, alright, well that's kind of what this looks like. It looks like a series of mine shafts going into Mount Detroit. One of them is very, very large, with this kind of patched together garage door that is currently open, and inside are a handful of vehicles, including what looks like an old military Jeep, which is supposed to be a modern military Jeep in the context of this game. And every as soon as you approach, anyone you see just kind of starts waving you over in a certain direction, heading towards a certain section of this kind of like anthill. But this is crawling with humans of all all shapes and sizes, and they all kind of have the same kind of like caked oil stained kind of look. They all look very rugged.
The more I see, the less I like. How do they survive here? What's happening?
They probably trade metal scrap for food to pass their, or maybe they have some sort of trade deal. Anyway, the foreman will be able to inform us much better.
That part.
Can't wait.
I mean,
Sure doesn't look like a joyful adventure though here.
Well, I'm
If he's optimistic, he's probably still concussed.
I mean, I don't imagine this is the Emerald City of Oz. I mean, they're probably not prancing around on a horse of a different color. This has got to be rough going. So I'm just going to kind of just follow along. Like they're clearly leading us towards what I'm going to assume is the foreman. So I'm just going to keep us going in that direction, thanking them as we go.
I would be rather surprised if they had a horse of a different color. I do not believe they came over a couple of years ago, like the rest of us.
That tracks.
Thanks, Joe.
All right.
Roy's gonna quit.
Finally, the convoy arrives at this one tunnel, this one massive tunnel. It is 20 foot by 20 foot, and it is at the ground level. So the floor of this tunnel is dirt instead of metal. And someone kind of comes out, and he's wearing like one of those a strap around his head, and he's got a little candle box as a form of a light source while underground. And his face is completely covered in grime and dirt, and he's got big heavy gloves that are like caked black and overalls. And he kind of walks up to you guys, and he's like, "You're out here to
You don't
trade?"
take candle.
Yeah, because he's a kobold from World of
Sorry.
Warcraft.
Sorry. Yes, sir. We are actually looking for some fuel. Trying to make our way to Montana, and we're just about on E.
Huh. All right. Well, you can go ahead and leave your vehicles here, and whoever speaks for you can follow me, and I'll take you to Foreman Carter.
I don't mind going, but Roy, do you want to? Can Roy come?
I mean, I can take this one if you guys want. You know what, Bill, you and me.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay.
Meanwhile, hard cut to Big Joe, who's over, like, just touching parts of the walls of this mountain.
And Hector scribbling notes, drawings.
You do notice at this point, now that you're physically touching it, all this metal is kind of fused together, just by the sheer force of the magnetic pull that is happening. It's just kind of compacted it all into one mass.
Okay.
All right. So Roy and Bill, you guys are led into this rather large, huge tunnel, and you can see, it kind of looks like a subway, and there's all these like doors going into smaller like tunnels elsewhere, and every like 10 feet there's some kind of light source. And you do notice that along the top are basically Christmas tree lights. That are electrically powered, and they're giving like a soft kind of glow to the whole tunnel. And eventually you go pretty deep to the point where the light coming from outside is basically gone, and you eventually veer to the left and go through kind of like a submarine door of sorts, and you enter this kind of like small, almost like a town hall type of situation. And at the far end of it is a table, and there are pew analogs, and then it's got like that courtroom kind of like gate, but everything's made out of metal in here. It's got that kind of fence in front, that kind of like waist high fence, and there's a man with a rifle who's kind of like you reckon like your bailiff type of situation. And then there's this table, and there's a handful of people, and one of them looks a little cleaner than the rest, and everyone seems to be regarding him, and you kind of guess that's Foreman Carter. And when you come in here...
Did you say cleaner or creepier?
Cleaner. Okay, and then I'm going to have to ask you guys to kind of fill time here, because I really got to pee. Be right back.
All right.
So Bill's gonna turn to Roy and like kind of do a quick whisper to one-on-one with him and say like, so how if I'm gonna do, or if we're gonna trade with him, how do we want to go about this? Do we want to go with like the light stuff first? So Hector already proposed repairing some beams and so on and so forth, and trying to set up something more stable for them. Do we want to start with things that we can give out for free in exchange for fuel, and then work our way to maybe the extra ammo that we still have over?
Exactly. That's if we can get away with trading services for goods, I would prefer that, because we're not necessarily on a time crunch right now to get to Montana. So if we need to spend a couple of days, a week or two here, quite frankly, the rest of the folks in the convoy could use the rest. They could use the downtime. We do need to get back out eventually. I don't want to keep us here too long, but if we need to stay for a little bit to...
You missed the weird part.
He had something on his headset when he put it back on.
Oh.
I don't want to think about it. I'm back.
No.
Can I interrupt, or you guys in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was we were wrapping up there anyway.
So eventually the man in charge kind of like gives a wave to the guy who brought you, and he's like, "Okay, come on up." And you guys come up to basically a smaller table in front of. There's like one small table in front of either row of pews. So you guys are brought up to the frontmost pew behind the table, and he looks up and he's like, "I'm Devin Carter. I'm in charge. I mean, whatever you want to call it, of Mount Detroit. What can we do for you? You guys don't look like regulars." And as he asks that, the guy who brought you kind of circumvents the fence, comes over and starts whispering to him. And so he's got like he's kind of like cocked his head towards him, and he's looking at you guys.
Well, Mr. Carter, it's a pleasure to meet you. And I'll extend my hand. Roy Hartsfield.
Well, there's like 10 feet between the two of you.
Well, then a tip of the hat to him. Roy Hartsfield. This is my friend Bill.
Bill Baxter, at your pleasure, and he's gonna give a polite nod.
I have to ask, is that a pseudonym, or have you changed your character's name?
Barker.
Barker, sorry.
Okay.
I was gonna roll with it.
No, Barker.
Okay.
I don't read my last name that.
We're passing through. We were kind of hoping to maybe fuel up a little bit while we were in Detroit, and apparently we're in Detroit. So
yeah, sorry, we don't have a Bureau of Tourism, so
that's completely understandable. It's the bureaucracy. I don't think would have survived all of this anyway. So
I got a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
Are you guys from a community of any kind, or is it just your 3 vehicles, and that's the sum of your scale here?
That's who we've got with us at the moment. We're actually on our way to our community.
And where are they?
Montana.
Wow. So you need a lot of fuel.
Yes, we do.
Walking is a little bit exhausting from here to Montana.
Yeah, I suppose it would be. For anyone who's not watching, Big Joe was a little insulted by that, considering he is going to have to walk to Montana until they find a very large car.
Well, I mean, we did try to fit him in the trunk, but he was a little bit too big.
Well, if you find a double-decker bus, he can sit down, you know? He can't move, but he can sit
Next
down.
quest.
Honestly, I've been kind of keeping an eye out for a flatbed. That would
the flatbed sounds nice.
Okay. He's like, all
Excuse
right. Well, fuel is a pretty precious commodity here.
I understand that.
Especially, petroleum, gasoline.
Yep.
So, I'm interested to hear what you guys are willing to offer.
Bill?
Well, for a first thing, that would most likely be the most use to you, but at the same time, I'm gonna offer it, but also have a question regarding it. Is we have some specialized skills in our caravan. One of our colleagues, you'll meet him hopefully you'll meet him later, but Hector, he's a engineer, scientist of sort. He's very good with his hands, and he can most likely help out if you have any sort of technical issues out here. A vehicle does not start or anything like that. He's actually even offered back at the camp, at the lumbering camp, to help. So he's definitely on board to help you guys with anything you want. In exchange, we would definitely be happy to get some fuel for that. That would be one opportunity. But my question that comes with that offer is also out of curiosity, but also to, know the danger, essentially, of this place. But what exactly are you digging here, like through the mine shaft and stuff? I understand it's a city under here, but what are you looking for?
Well, we kind of deal in 2 things. Scrap metal, which is pretty easy for us to come by. But we do have a large quantity of it, and people want it. And then we also are looking for fuel, just like you guys are asking for. Every gas station, fuel trucker, car, truck, van, got all smushed up in this mountain, and that oil is just sitting there.
Well, that's actually pretty impressive, and I must admit that your setup here is pretty incredible for, like, I personally would not have been able to do what you guys.
Well, it's coming. No small amount of manpower has made this happen. That being said, manpower, that's not a high value to me right now. Even specialized manpower which you're offering, I'm looking for more or something I can either use, for the foreseeable future, or trade with to get something better.
Well, what are you looking for?
Well, bullets are always good. Horses, any kind of livestock. Honestly, pairs of clothes. Soap is surprisingly rare.
So that I can imagine.
FYI, Bill's gonna make a mental note, although his concussion's not helping, of all of this, so that when they travel, he's gonna keep an eye out for these specific things. Because if this is what they need here, they need that most likely everywhere.
Take notes.
So bullets we might be able to help with. As you can probably imagine, traveling is a little on the risky side, so we stock up on that whenever we can. Livestock, I don't think we can help with. Clothes, that we may be able to help with more than expected. One, well, a couple of our compatriots are handy with needle and thread. If you've got the cloth, we can make it.
And again, we can also provide the services of fixing up the current outfits that you might not be using. And I know soap might not be a commodity out here, but cleaning. But you should probably have people for that. But still, a few more hands can help.
Plus, you haven't met him yet, but in case you've got any big excavation projects going, we might have just the guy to help.
Yeah, my guy here tells me you're traveling with a Jolite. What's the
That
story
is
with that?
correct. He's a good friend. He like I told your buddies out down at the lumberyard. He saved our skin more times than we can count. He's good people. He's gone up against his own kind to help us out. He's not a huge fan of some of the more aggressive actions of his people, and is just trying to make do in a world that doesn't want him making do.
Sure. So you said you had ammunition.
We've got some.
Pretty well armed.
It's decent. We can protect ourselves. We can absolutely protect ourselves.
I mean, how much of that would you be willing to trade, given that you got a long ways to Montana? And let me tell you, west of here, it doesn't get nicer.
Oh no, I can imagine. Well, yeah. Once again, whatever the game mechanic equivalent one use of loaded for bear is.
All right.
Well, Bill will add to that. He's going to say, to be fair, though, we did need to trade. Just to get here, we needed to trade a portion of our ammunition to get here. So, obviously, what we have, supply and demand, you understand that as the foreman of this place. So, we're going to seek proper value to value.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Obviously, we're looking for a fair trade here. And with
the
that,
last guys did too.
We're gonna quickly kind of do a we're gonna do a quick jump to Hector and Big Joe.
Okay.
So, how are you two spending this time?
Quite honestly, witnessing such a weirdly natural, I'm doing quotes with my fingers, phenomenon. I'm not really on top of my game, like guard wise. I'm not. I'm taking notes. I'm studying the structure, and I'm even asking questions. Like Hector is a scientific wannabe type, and he doesn't usually trust magic or what seems like magic, but he's gonna actually ask Big Joe if he feels anything and what he thinks is happening here. All the what we've witnessed earlier with the metal being um, polarized and you know, I'm trying to find empirical evidences of what's going on here.
Big Joe is sitting crisscross applesauce in front of the base of this mountain, and he has his hands pressed against it, and he is going to be activating one of his stunts, which he can do once per session, called Commune with Spirits, and he is hopefully going to talk to some of the nature spirits that are in and around this area to find out some information about it, such as whether it's natural or if there's like something causing it. Usually I do a magic roll, and then it's almost like kind of run the same way as doing situational aspects. If I get a pass, it's except for if I get if I tie, there's nothing. If I get 1 to 3 shifts, it's or 1 to 2 shifts, it's 1 question. And if I get style, it's 2 questions, kind of deal. Kind of the same scale.
Does your stunt specify what the obstacle is, or do I make that?
It would be up to you.
Okay, we'll just make it a 2.
Go!
Okay, you got a 6, so you succeeded with style. So you get 2 questions?
Yep. So, and they're yes and no questions, so that makes it even more tricky. Is there someone or something at the center of this mountain?
Okay. Yeah, you get the sense that the way you interpret what a spirit is, there is something at the heart of this mountain, with quotation marks. And maybe you haven't encountered it on this Earth, but the other world functioned in very similar capacities, physics-wise, to how Earth functions, right? So you get the impression that what is at the heart of this mountain is akin to another pole, magnetic pole, as if nature with a capital N just decided to put a new pole here.
This one with like a stronger condensed magnetic. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's a pulse instead of being constant.
Yes, and the pulse is obviously overpowering the normal, magnetic field of the other poles.
All right, so that's number 1.
Yeah, when we get back to your guy, we'll talk about that.
Sure.
Are these people treating you with respect? Once again, this is to like the spirits, the natural spirits of the mountain or the surrounding area, kind of thing.
Going again on what you're interpreting, I'm going to go ahead and give you just a no explanation, just a no.
Okay. So kind of snapping out of this long kind of several minute process, Big Joe will turn to Hector and say, "There is no magic. This seems to be a natural phenomenon, but I do worry about our friends inside.
And that's a
They
good
do not
segue
seem
to jump
Yep.
back. All right, so Bill was saying while he was texting that you wanted to try to make a rapport check to try to coax him.
Well, like just being more friendly with him, talk trader to trader, try to establish a rapport of force essentially between him and me, so that he takes us seriously, I take him seriously, and that maybe he'll be more favorable to like giving us what we need, and like he's not gonna try to bullshit. Just trying to get to garner any bonus I can get through talking to him.
So you're trying to expedite an outcome to these negotiations?
Not expedite an outcome. I want to earn his respect, essentially, using my rapport skill. And in doing so, it would be just like I began the conversation by complimenting the complex, agreeing to his skills as a foreman, and like a little bit brown nosing, but
Sure. You're gonna go ahead and attack with rapport, and he's gonna defend with will. He has a +3 with will. You got a 4, and I'm gonna roll my fudge dice. I got a +3 with his 3, gives me a 6. So your attack to try to garner respect is currently failing. Do you want to spend that last fate point?
we still got a while to go tonight. Nope.
I'm gonna what's the
Compel.
Yeah, I'm gonna compel.
Okay.
I'm gonna compel Bill with his aspect of Bill feels like this isn't necessarily going in his direction. So I'm gonna compel with no bullshit. To where he's just gonna be like, all right, you know what? You're a straightforward kind of guy. Basically the drop the pretenses. This is what we need. This is what you got. This is what we got. Let's go. Let's do this thing. So I'm compelling with that.
How does that change what he's currently doing? What's the direction he's going? The
Well,
new direction he was going in.
The direction he was going in was he was kind of he mentioned very specifically he was talking like tradesman to tradesman, kind of just finding
the respect,
finding that common ground, trying to develop that
relationship, essentially.
The sort of develop a friendship, and he realizes now it's not working, so he's just gonna completely
start being assertive.
Just drop pretenses. Look, this is what we need. This is what you got. Is this happening or not?
Okay, Bill, do you want to accept that compel?
Certainly, and at the same time, I'm trying to see. Hold on, I just need to think about my arguments.
I do think, though, if you accept that compel, that means you're just going to go ahead and let this roll fail, because you're now a change of tactics from what this roll is. This roll was to try to, kind of buttering him up, kind of get that. But now that this roll is gone, he's compelling you to just take the fail.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the fail. And I'm gonna think about, because when the trade actually happens, I'm gonna use. Okay, sure, let's keep that for now.
Okay, so how do you roleplay your change of kind of demeanor here? What does Bill do?
So when Bill sees that the foreman is not picking up any of his cues, as he would usually do, salesman to salesperson to salesperson, he would basically do like he used to do with his old boss, and essentially go with hard facts, as if he was trying to show why he was such a good salesperson. But in this case, he's going to turn it more into okay, so listen, we've got this many boxes of ammo that we would potentially be willing to part with. What are we looking for on your side, so that we can start thinking about an arrangement on how much you should actually consider bringing out and how much we should consider bringing out? Just do the balance of things right now. So what
you're like,
what's
look,
your top?
we got
top?
this amount of ammo. We think we should get this amount of liters. What do you? Let's start talking numbers here.
Yeah.
Okay. So you start doing that, and Foreman Carter looks to one of the guys in the back of the room, and then gives him a thumbs up. And then that guy leaves the room. And so Bill's kind of doing his spiel, and Roy, you look behind you, and 2 armed men come into the room. And you also hear a whistle being blown. And you guys outside can hear this whistle being blown. And as this whistle kind of ricochets and echoes out of this large cavern, suddenly well-concealed hatches within this Mount Detroit start to pop open, and armed guys start rushing out, maybe a dozen of them. And they start to, as fast as they can, they're trying to encircle your convoy. And inside, Bill finishes his spiel, but Bill, you can tell the energy of this has completely shifted now. And so you kind of like pitter out and kind of come to a stopping point, maybe in the middle of your thought. And Carter reaches underneath the table and pulls out what looks to be a revolver. And he says, "Yeah, actually, I think we're just going to take everything." And that is where we're going to go on break.
Good break. Good breaking point. Very good breaking point.
So, as we fade to black here for our commercial break, I'm going to go put the kids to bed. So we're shooting for a 15-minute break here, so my players can go pee, get a snack. Audience, I encourage you to do the same. And then I'll be back, hopefully 15 after, and we'll be back with another hour 45 of Die Roll Neosoma. See you then. Stick around. Thanks for watching.
Woohoo!
All right, guys, we're back.
Hi.
Hello.
You know what that means, right?
Oh, God. What does that mean?
We're going to start off with a compel.
Oh.
No, don't.
Oh.
Okay. I like where this is going.
Going to compel Roy.
Are you
Roy.
going to compel what I think you're going to compel?
Roy, you didn't bring any guns, did you?
No, I did not.
Yeah, neither did Bill, right?
Nope.
There are 4 armed gunmen in this, but I'm compelling your Captain Action to not take this line down.
Done. Okay.
I got another compel.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to compel Big Joe.
Okay, good. I was afraid.
Big Joe, I'm going to compel your just so damn big. You're at the base of the mountain up against a heavily wooded area. There's a lot of metal that's forming a lot of uneven terrain, and there's also a lot of people, and you've got your convoy there. There's not a lot of space for you to move. So I don't know how much of fate I'm obeying here, but my compel is because you're just so big and it's kind of a cramped space on the floor. I'm gonna say the only way you can defend is with physique.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I mean, he was sitting crisscross applesauce, so I imagine stuff's hanging out over him. So yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna go to conflict, and it's gonna be complicated because you're in 2 different spaces. I'm gonna make this one scene, so I'm gonna go ahead and give myself 2 more fate points. And before we get
cheater,
before we get going on initiative and slander, we're gonna go ahead and kind of draw out some of the zones here.
Okay.
So this zone right here is the sort of the hearing room, we'll call it, which is where Roy and Bill are, and then
the town hall.
This is. I'm actually going to divide this into 2, just because it's so big, right? So that's 2 zones are the tunnel itself, and then we'll have this is not the scale, but this is the outside, which will also the outside will be 1 zone, and that's where the ambush of Hector and Big Joe is. So there's 4 zones here. And if anyone needs to know where they are, I can put down indicators. But for now, I assume you guys know where you are. And if it comes, if it gets lost, then we can put it down for real. All right. So some of the actors in this, I have 3 minion groups, I'll call them, that are part of this 12-man ambush. They're each grouped into groups of 4. And then inside the hearing room is Devin Carter himself. He's 1 guy, and then his 3 guards are 1 minion group. So you've got kind of 5 enemy actors here.
Okay.
And I believe we go off of notice, except for Roy, who goes off of athletics.
Yep.
Okay. So I gave them all +1 except for Carter, who has a +3. Just to the sake of speed, I'm just gonna add 2 labels here. Carter's got a 3, and then Goons. Make sure to pronounce the N, because I don't want to get kicked off of Twitch. And we'll say Hector wins the tie, because I don't want to get into it. All right.
Perfect.
So there we
What
have.
about me and Carter?
How do we figure it out before? I believe
So
Roy goes
tiebreaker-
before Big Joe. We know that one.
Because the tiebreaker is athletics.
My athletics at 3.
His athletics is a 2. So
I win.
You will win. Yep. Actually, Hector, what's your athletics?
0.
Okay, then you are going to lose out to the Goons. And Chuck is a 0. I don't want to delete him because I don't want to have to put him back on later. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so Roy.
Captain Action. You said hatches open, armed guards coming in.
That was on the outside. For you,
okay.
there's the bailiff proxy, and then 2 more armed guards came in from the back.
Right.
From the door.
Right, and then Carter pulled a pistol.
Yeah, Carter has a revolver. Yeah.
So I'm going to jump the desk and wrestle the pistol out of Carter's hand.
Okay, so you just kind of jump up on the table and lunge at him?
Yep.
All right, are you trying to create an advantage here, or are you just going to, You're trying to wrestle the gun out of his hand, but the action is you're just attacking him, dealing some stress?
Is there a difference? I'm legitimately trying to get the gun from him.
Right. I don't know how much Fate has in the way of disarming, but I suppose what you can do is overcome. Because you're not trying to create an aspect, you're trying to remove something from the scene. So that'll be an overcome. So I think it would be an opposed overcome. If you succeed, you get the gun. You can now use shoot, he cannot. If you fail, nothing happens.
On
that would be fight.
Tie, we are still fighting over the gun.
A tie is still a fail.
Okay.
A success is 1 shift or more.
Fair enough. Okay.
All right, and so you're both going to be using fight here.
Okay.
His fight is a +3.
So is mine.
Okay, even Steven.
Oh, the suspense.
Let's see.
I
rolled a 5.
Rolled a 5. I rolled a 5.
So I'm gonna use that compel and invoke Captain Action on it.
Okay. That gives you a +2. I'm going to invoke, and by invoking this, you will learn an aspect of Carter. You'll have to remember if you want me to write it down. You'll have to do create an advantage. I'm going to compel his aspect, Foreman Gone Bad. This is his thing. He likes to shoot people.
Okay.
Well, maybe not likes to, but that's his preferred method of dealing with problems, is shooting people. So he really wants to hold on to that gun, and he sees you coming. His first instinct is to get you away from his gun. So I'm gonna invoke that. I'm spending a fate point. So now you're both tied at 7.
And I can't invoke a thing to help him right now, right?
I'm gonna invoke again, and this time I'm gonna invoke. Oh, there's 2 ways I could go with this. I'm gonna invoke. I guess I'm in charge now, because no, bitch, I've got the gun. I'm calling the shots.
Which are you invoking? Sorry. I guess I'm in charge now. Okay.
Yep.
I'm I added, instead of doing a scene aspect, I decided each zone will have an aspect. So the outside has cluttered space. The 2 corridors in the big tunnel is utterly empty, and this is Carter's domain. I don't think I want to. I only got 3 fate here. So I think I'm gonna let you have it.
Okay.
So you now have the revolver.
Boom.
All right, Big Joe.
And I'm in charge now.
Now I'm in charge now. Captain Action is in charge now.
Okay, so hatches have opened out on the outside, and armed men have come pouring out and are starting to encircle the caravan.
That's their goal, yeah.
Okay. He was mid, kind of like talking
Seance,
to.
yeah.
Yeah. So he's going to look towards Hector and say, "I don't think these folks are on our side." And then he'll turn to the men. "New friends, why is it you are surrounding us?" And I'm going to try to use my rapport, which I have none of, so this is going to be awesome. You know what? That's a lie. I have rapport at fair, as I'm going to actually fill in my
Nice.
last fair.
I'm getting feedback whenever Big Joe talks. I don't know who that's coming out of. Everyone check your audio.
I'm on headphones.
Same here.
All right, say something.
Is it
Keep talking. I think it's actually coming
test?
from
Test.
you. Okay, I think it's gone. We'll just keep going.
So I'm going to gain rapport at fair, filling up my last fair slot. And as he says, new friends, why are you doing this? He's gonna stand up as best as he can, even though he's like, as he's standing up, he's hitting stuff. Parts of the mountain are kind of falling on him, and he says, "Oh." He say, "I do not believe you want to do this. We came here as friends. You are our friends." He's really trying to hammer in this, like, "Hey, man, we're cool. But I'm trying to de-escalate them, maybe, if that's even possible. I doubt it, but
Or they're humans seeing
Are
a
you trying to create an
Joelite.
advantage of maybe like something along the lines of like casting down?
yeah,
Or
do
create-
or like second thoughts about
Second
this or
thoughts?
something like that.
All right, so go ahead and do a create advantage action. And
Sweet.
they're gonna contest with, I guess, Will, which they have at a +0. So let me roll. I got a 0, so you succeeded.
Yes.
Yes!
We're gonna go ahead and create a situational aspect. And you are that light blue I gave you, and you're gonna call this what? What was it?
I'm gonna call it.
Hesitant ambushers.
Second thoughts.
Second thoughts, or not sure who the real enemy is.
Second thoughts
Or
is
so-
faster,
but second,
just so we can keep it moving.
Yep.
And then you got your free invoke there.
Haha.
And yeah, okay, cool. Bill. I think I'm gonna offer you a compel here.
Okay.
Now the thing is, there it is. Okay. Yes. I am going to say I'm gonna offer you one of these here fate points. And I'm gonna compel your what was it exactly? Oh, I just realized we're not on the map. Man. Okay, here we are, guys. I'm so sorry, viewers. Granted, the audio listeners will not care. I'm gonna compel your bark no bite.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say, we got Captain Action over here jumping, but you see a bunch of guys with guns, and so
Yes.
I'm compelling you to take the action of full defense, which is a special 5th action you can take during conflicts, where you forgo your action and gain a +2 bonus whenever you take a defend action, until I guess the start of your next turn.
It's actually pretty amazing because not only did you teach me about the action, but on top of that, that was kind of the strategy I was going to try and use. So I'm actually going to take the compel and do exactly.
Okay. There you go. So you are going full defense. So any defense roll you make until your next round, you get a +2.
Okay.
All right.
And essentially, just to make it picturing for people, we're in a place with tables, I think.
Yeah. So you're just
So I
kidding.
kick,
Okay.
yeah, I kick a table and just like go behind it, like screw that, they're guns, there's guns.
All right. Carter, now bereft of firing implement. I think he's gonna try to get it back. Shoot is his highest skill. So you wrest it from him. You're basically like on like kind of not even standing. You're kind of like lying upright. You know, like sitting on the table, and you just pulled the gun away from him, and he's just gonna tackle you to the floor, trying to wrestle the gun back into his grasp. So that's gonna be a fight. Which we both have at +3, if I recall. So I'll roll first as the aggressor. I got a 0, which equals a +3. So I got a 3.
Okay. Rolling fight.
So you got a 1. So he's winning.
I got a 1.
Yeah, he's winning. He's getting that gun back.
He's
You got
Should
2
we roll?
minuses, so you should re-roll.
Did
If you're
Yeah.
gonna spend a fate point.
Yeah, if you want to.
I really don't want to get shot, so I think I am gonna spend the fate point.
Uh-oh.
And
Actually, before you do that, can I compel you? No, actually, you're spending a fate point already. Because
Well-
my compel would have been grasping for glory. Would have said you don't want to lose.
It has to be negative. If
Yeah,
you're
it
gonna
has to-
compel, it cannot help.
Yeah,
Yep.
you
It's got
can't.
to
So no,
create
never
a
mind.
new. It's either got to change the dynamic of the situation or create a problem. That's how compelled.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Use your fate points.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna invoke former minor league baseball player, and I've got a much stronger grip than he was prepared to contend with.
All right. So that brings you up to a 3.
That brings me up to a 3.
I am going to invoke Carter's domain, which is the situational aspect. This is his house, and that's his gun. Damn it! And that gun was in this room. So I'm gonna give. And since you're out of fate points, that's gonna be it. So even though you really got a tight grip, you don't realize this, but when you roll off the table, he's angling you so that you immediately hit this kind of step, which is really gonna just kind of send a surge of pain up your spine, and your hand just kind of. Just for a moment, and he gets his gun back, and you're down, head lower than your legs on the ground. He's standing over you, gun in hand, and now it's going to be the goon's turn. All right. Since we're already in this room, let's go ahead and do the 3 guards. They are going to brandish their weapons aggressively towards Bill, and they are going to try to provoke. And they have a provoke at +2. And they're going to try to. They're inflicting mental stress with this. They're like, stand up, hands in the air. So this is going to be an attack, and they are going to try. They're inflicting stress. So this will be a will defense, which you still get +2 because full defense is for everything. So they're going to roll. They have a +2 for provoke. So here's my roll. I got a 2 on the dice, so that's a 4.
Okay, so let me roll will. I'm trying the option. There's a roll for the fate plus skill plus modifiers. I'm going to see what the plus modifiers do. So sorry if it breaks something. I'm just trying it out. It's asking for the modifiers. I'm going to put 2.
Cool. Okay, so I'm going to make sure the math is right on that. Yep, it's got the +2 there. All right, so your roll ended on a 2. So they're beating you by 2. So you're taking 2 mental stress unless you want to spend a fate. Point.
At this point, 2 mental stress. I think everybody has that.
Yeah, I could take it. If
Yeah,
needs
everyone
be.
has a 1. Every player character has a 1 and a 2.
I'm just trying to see, could I call in no bullshit? I mean, it's the first time they talk. They haven't shot yet, so it makes sense that they would call for surrender. I mean, they got us pretty surrounded. The bark with no bite, they don't want to shoot me. Shifting from strategy. I can't really invoke that. So yeah, I'm just going to take
Okay, so check off your stress box 2 for your mental.
number 2.
All right, and now we have the 3 goons outside.
4.
The 3 goon groups.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
12 of them.
Shit.
Yeah.
God damn it.
So since neither one of you have attacked yet, I'm gonna do the same thing. These guys out here, their provoke is not as good as the internal guards, so they actually only have a provoke of +1. And they are going to attack each of you. I'm gonna have 2 of them team up to just kind of expedite it as one roll with the +2. So they're gonna a +2 against Hector, and then a +1 against Big Joe, and they're doing the same thing, like surrender, raise your hands, give up. They're doing a provoke attack. This will be a mental attack. So we'll do against Hector. You're getting a +2. We'll do that first. So I rolled a 3, so I got a 5. So you're defending with Will.
And okay, so it doesn't work with Hector, but Hector can see it works with other survivors, and he doesn't want that. So I'm gonna invoke the dangerous road. We were ready for that. We talked about this. Spread out, get cover. We're defending.
Okay, you actually don't have to declare you're invoking anything until after you. Oh, you've got a 4. Okay.
So yeah, I want a 6th. So I'm gonna use this token.
All right. You got a 6 to my 4, so you beat it. All right, that attack is just gonna fail. Easy peasy. Okay, and then a +1 against Big Joe. And actually, you don't have to use Will. Will is just a default. But if you can if an action can defend and you can justify it, go ahead. Like if you want to use Deceive to feign surrender. But
I actually was going to base off of the compelled from earlier, and you said that I can only use physique, and they are trying to essentially get a much larger person to like surrender, and he's just going to like flex on them as best as Big Joe in his like very like non-aggressive way.
Weird flex, but okay.
I'll allow it. I got a 1 total.
I mean, he's not literally flexing, but he's like standing up to his full 15 feet, and he's just kind of like trying to look menacing, just bulk himself up, chest puff, like.
Yeah. Since this is a mental attack, like in Big Joe's head, he's like, "Nah, I'm bigger than these guys." That's your yeah.
So yeah, let's go with physique.
All right, I got a 1. You got a 6. You killed it, so their attack fails.
And he just goes, "No, you surrender."
All right. And Hector.
With Big Joe's voice booming and resounding in the deep valley, I really want the survivors and everybody in the group to have better position. We have to hold this place until Roy and Bill make it out. So I'm gonna use shoot to create an advantage for the whole survivors group, and I want us to get better position, like we're under cover and we can get the lay of the land of the place. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna lay cover fire for everybody.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're suppressive firing. Okay. All right. And this is an attack, right? So you're shooting at them.
It's create an advantage with shoot.
Okay. They're going to use athletics to try to roll and get out of the way. They have a +3, so you got a 2.
Doesn't look good.
Actually, wait. You're suppressive firing, so I guess it wouldn't be against their athletics. But I didn't get the chance to declare the. I'll just do a blank roll and add. I'll add 2 to it. Okay, so you're losing by 1. I got a total. Actually, no, I got a 5 because I said I was going to add 2 to it. So I got a 5. So that advantage is not going anywhere. You can create an aspect, but I think when you're doing create an advantage. I think when you fail it, like fail, then the aspect gets put there, but
can benefit my enemy.
But the enemy gets a free invocation on it. Yeah, I'm gonna double check that. When you fail, yes, someone else gets a free invoke. Yeah.
It's not clear if I could give it to somebody else, like Big Joe.
Well, since I'm the defender, it's my choice. So. So are you gonna take the hit? I mean, you're losing by 3.
Yeah, I can't do much about that. That's what I think.
All right, I have a perfect one for this, and it's an aspect, but it is kind of a moment in time. But this moment in time kind of will snowball, and that's when I'm going to do it. And actually, I made it red, but it should actually be gray for me. All right, so the situation I created is Hector's empty. You let off a hail of rifle shots, and then everyone kind of heard this click.
Oh.
All right, I like that. Pisses me off, but
So
I
remember,
like it.
your character will obviously reload, but like this moment in time was like, hey, that guy's out of ammo. That's gonna snowball, and my and the bad guys will get a free invoke of that. They so choose. All right, so that makes it Roy's turn.
All right, so I'm kind of down on the ground, and he's standing up above me with the gun.
Yep.
Triple backflip somersault. Disarm maneuver.
No, I'm gonna try to break his knee. I'm just gonna donkey kick his knee as hard as possible.
Okay, that would be a fight attack.
Yep.
He is going to defend with physique. He's just gonna like kind of let you hit him and just try to like stand firm against it.
Oh, well. Enjoy that, buddy. All right, so my fight roll, I rolled a 2 total. Blech.
Well, he has a +4 on physique.
Oh, well.
Yeah, he's a mine foreman who doesn't get to sit around doing paperwork. He's got to work, so he's kind of swole. He got a 5.
Okay.
All right, so you just kind of kick him in the knee, and you're just kind of shocked because he doesn't even move. He just like looks down, looks back at you, and Big Joe, you're up. Actually, you know what? I think I mistyped when I said physique 4. I think I meant to put 2. So I got a 3. I'm still beating you, and you're out of fate points, so we can go ahead and move on.
Right.
Okay, but yeah, I think I mistyped the 4 there because in my listing it's down with the 2s. So because having physique 4 is a bit insane as an NPC. So go ahead, Big Joe.
Okay. So these groups of goons are being shot at by Hector, someone now unsuccessfully as he's run out of ammo. Some of them have attempted to pacify Big Joe, but Big Joe's just being all imposing and Joe Light-like. He is going to given the fact that this area is essentially a new pole, and having communed with the spirits and learned that they are not being treated well by these folks, Big Joe is not too happy with them, and I would like to use his magic to basically cause like bolts of electricity to start kind of arcing off of him, seeing as electricity and magnetism are part of the same essentially energy. I'm basically hoping that seeing now this Joe Light now just arcing with energy, that I'm going to try and scare them away.
Well, first, in order to start using magic, you have to create an advantage.
Yeah. That's so I guess I will make the create advantage. I'm just going off of what we were talking about. So I'm going to use my magic now to create the advantage.
Yep.
By doing it, this is going to be alter magic. So
you're going to try to create an alter. You're trying to create an alter aspect so you can start using alter magic. All right,
yes.
So roll against opposition 2 with magic.
Okay.
You tie, so you can give yourself a boost, which will let you do one thing with your magic skill. Or you can spend a fate point and create the aspect.
I'm going to spend the fate point to create the aspect.
Okay.
And I'm going to, because it has to be based off my aspect, and I'm going to tie it into the shock to the system, which is his connection to electricity just in general.
Okay.
Now, it's kind of how he...
Yeah.
Oh.
Unlike normal, when you create advantage rolls, this one's specific to magic. You don't get a free invoke unless you do it with style. You've just successfully created the advantage.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Okay.
I didn't want to... Sorry, go ahead.
Well, what do you want to name it?
Electromagnetic field.
My fingers. Electromagnetic field. Okay. I'm running out of room, so I'm gonna start putting it over there. Actually, cool. And I'll take that fate point. Cool.
Yep.
All right,
Cool.
Bill, you're up.
Yeah, I've been reading through my skills trying to find something, and the sad part is I had a bunch of ideas with provoke, but that would require me to lie. Or, well, bullshit. Not quite lie, but bullshit. And my character is no bullshit, so obviously that won't work, because otherwise I'm gonna get compelled.
No bullshit is a one-way street, but yeah. Technically, you're right. Meaning, like, a salesman is gonna use bullshit, he's not gonna take it.
We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna. No one. No one. Okay.
Yeah. Keep
I
going.
just didn't want us to get copyright stricken. Thanks, though, Johnny.
Okay, Jaken.
Yep, that's me.
So, given that Roy is currently fighting, and I've spent a whole turn cowering behind the table, I figure, hey, might as well do something here. Like, otherwise, I'm just gonna. They're either gonna do something bad, or I'm gonna get shot, or a lot of thoughts cross his mind. So I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but I'm hoping it works. So bear with me here and tell me if it's allowed or not. So the provoke skill, you can use it to create a shock status or hesitant status. So my first go was gonna go with hesitant, but that won't work because I need to bullshit. But for shocked, I'm wondering if I couldn't run out from behind the table and just dive at the first goon that I can see to get close and personal with him, creating a shock status on all of them because they definitely don't expect me to do that. And at the same time, I would explain it. I would logic it by saying, if I'm so close with a guy, hopefully they won't shoot at their own.
Provoke
I'm
isn't
basically
a physical...
charging them.
Yeah, but provoke as a skill is not a physical action. So maybe while you're charging at him, you're letting out this uncharacteristic, just like, ah!
You're Han and they're stormtroopers.
Yeah, exactly. So you're doing it under that stipulation. Yeah, I'll let you do a provoke attack. Or are you trying to create an advantage?
Create an advantage of shocking them.
Okay. I
So
will
hopefully
oppose
they're-
that with their will, which is at 0. So go ahead and do your provoke attack. Or, I'm sorry, create advantage with provoke.
I click, but nothing happened. I'm afraid of clicking again.
Yeah, just give it a hot second. Go ahead and click it again. If it's lag, we'll take the first result.
And are you still on the modifier?
Yep, he figured it out.
Alright, so you got a 3. I got a 0. So you're going to succeed with style.
Nice.
What do you want to call this aspect?
Excuse me.
I know. I was gonna call it surprise, motherfucker. But I'm not sure you can.
Yeah.
French
Call
fries.
it mofos. Call it mofos.
Supplies.
I misspelled mother.
I like that so much.
That's perfect.
Actually, I'm sorry.
So-
I'm sorry. Hang on. The writer in me. There we go.
So just so the audio people can figure it out, what I'm picturing right now is that Bill jumped behind the table. They said, "Okay, surrender," and then they heard nothing. It was just kind of quiet, and they were like, "Did he surrender?" And suddenly he just burst from behind the table, going, "Ah!" And, just jumps on the first guy, and everybody's like, "What the hell?"
All right. All right. It's Carter's turn. So Carter has just, he looks down after getting kicked in the knee, looks back up, and then he pulls back the hammer on his revolver and says, "Should have worn cleats." And he's just gonna shoot down at you.
Wow.
Low blow.
I'm not that kind. I'm not a dirty player.
Okay, but how are you defending?
How does one defend against shoot?
Well,
Athletic.
athletics to kind of roll it away.
Or physique to take it like a man?
Yeah, you could physique
Yeah,
just be
no,
like,
we're gonna
fuck your
yeah,
bullet.
no, we're gonna go with athletics.
All right. So he has a +5 to shoot.
What a bastard!
Oh, I rolled a -1, so he got a 4.
All right, fingers crossed, boys.
Yeah.
I rolled a 6.
That's a 6. All right.
What?
So he pulls back the hammer, does his witty one-liner, but that gives you just enough time to kind of like roll backwards as he shoots the metal. Oh, no, actually, no, this is the dirt. This is probably the wood, right? Because he's up high,
Yeah.
or the raised metal platform. He ricochets off harmlessly. Good job. All right, and now it's the goon's turn. All right, Bill. The guards turn
Yes.
their weapons on you.
Of course. I would not expect it any other way.
They have a +2 on shoot. I got a 0, so that's a total of a 2. So they're shooting you with 2. With a 2, what are you defending with?
Well, obviously, I don't want to get shot, so it's going to be athletic.
Okay. You got a 4. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So you're charging at him, and one of them like levels his gun at you, and you kind of like, like kick off one of the pews and kind of dodge out of the way as he fires off a round, and another ricochet happens. And you know what? Okay, so that's going to lead to the 3 groups outside. Big Joe is like starting to crackle with like electrical energy. His eyes might start to kind of have this twinkle spark, if you will.
Nice.
Hector has let off some rounds. Things are getting heated. So at least 2.
Clarification: it is a twinkle,
Okay,
not a spark.
got it. So for 2 of these groups are going to just start opening up on Hector, especially since they know he's out of ammo. This is their chance to take out the key combatant in this situation. So 2 of the groups are going to start shooting at you. They have a +3 to shoot. What is your what is for the first attack? How are you going to defend?
I can't use shoot, so it's gonna be physique. I guess I'm trying to dive out of the way.
That would be athletics.
Rah, I'm gonna take it like a man.
Oh, physique could just like shoot me.
Eesh. So I'm gonna do a roll with no skill.
No skill. Okay, you're doing athletics, which is a 0.
I could do stealth.
I
Maybe?
think you might be able to defend with notice. Yeah, you can defend with notice so that you're just not where they're aiming. You know.
Oh,
It's
that's
kind
right.
of it's kind of like on the same token of athletics, but instead of relying on mobility, you're relying on not being, on getting out of the
I
line
see
of sight.
exactly what you mean, and yeah, okay.
Okay, so you're gonna
make
defend
the
with
switch. So
notice. All right, they have a +3, so that's oh my god, that's our first ever all 4 pluses on a roll. So I got a 7.
So I'm gonna take. Oh,
Yeah,
I
that's
can't.
yeah. So you got a 3. So they're beating you by 4.
I could take a minor consequence, and I think I'm gonna do that.
Okay. I'm gonna let me know what it is because I gotta write it down because they get a free invoke against it.
Because the way I get that, they are a +4. I have physique 3. So if I take it's a medium consequence, right? So I should do something.
Wait,
about
no.
that.
You can take both a stress box and a consequence. So you can check off your second stress box and take a minor.
Okay, that's exactly.
Okay, so you're taking a consequence. All right, they're shooting at you. What's the consequence? It probably has to do something to do with, maybe a graze.
I'm gonna be grazed and I'm gonna start bleeding.
All right. You want to just call it grazed?
Yeah.
Okay. And I get a free invoke on that. Cool. All right, that was the first shot. Second shot, you want to keep using notice?
Yeah, no choice.
Okay. My God, I got a 3 on the roll, so that's a 6.
Ew.
And you got a 1, so that's beating you by 5.
Well, I would invoke prepared for,
Yeah,
striving for peace, prepared for war.
go
And
back to your war experience of not getting shot.
yeah, just general experience of like getting into cover before shit hits the fan. So that's a 3, and you had 5. So I can take that 2.
But you already checked the 2.
Oh.
But you can check a 3. Do you have a 3 for physical?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Shit.
So Hector's getting a lot of physical stress here. And then the final goon group, is going to make one last attempt to get Big Joe to back down because he's got the aspect out there of second thoughts. I'm gonna say they're not at the point where they're ready to shoot this guy yet, but they are gonna make another provoke attack to try to get you to stop. But again, they have +0 provoke, so it probably won't go well for them. So I got a 2. And Big Joe, you got to defend with physique.
Yep. So now, like, electricity starting to like just crackle off his body, almost like his hair starting to stand on end from the static electricity. He's just going to let out like this bellow out with "You hurt the mountain," which will probably make no sense to them, but.
Right.
It would scare the hell out of them.
Yeah, all right. You got a 5, I got a 2. Nothing happens. All right. Hector, you're up.
All right. So I'm now undercover, but I'm empty. I'm gonna take some time to reload, and then I think about it. I'm just not gonna shoot. I'm gonna get my bottle of alcohol, which I found in the bunker. I'm gonna shred part of my shirt. I'm gonna stuff it down the bottleneck, and I'm gonna light on fire, and I'm gonna throw it at the enemy. Like, it's in cluttered space. Yeah. I figure I can hit at least one goons group and provide.
For sure. So that's still gonna be a shoot attack.
Can't I use crafts? No, okay, it's gonna
actually
be shoot.
Can you? I don't think crafts can be attack. Yeah,
I don't think you can either.
Fight, provoke, and shoot are the only attack skills, and magic.
You're right. All right.
So you're still shooting isn't anything range. So you're throwing. That's the key here. Exactly. The role play is you know what you're doing, and then okay. Since you're throwing this at them,
I will probably want to use a reroll, but I'm gonna see your result.
Okay. Since you're throwing this bottle at them, and you know this is a gunfight, no one's expecting a Molotov to come out. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stay true to the role play. You guys do it. I'm gonna do it. So even though they have a way better chance of athletics getting out of the way. They're not thinking bottle through the air. So I'm gonna make them fall back on notice, of which they have a +1. So I'm going to roll with the +1. I got a -3. So
yes.
With the +1 is a -2. So you have 3 shifts. So you slam that Molotov into a group of gunmen, and 3 of them catch fire and are out of the fight. There's only 1 left.
And can I create an aspect like smoke, black smoke on the field? Just wondering.
No. An attack, you just damage the hell out of them.
Still, yeah, I that was more effective than I thought it would be. Perfect. So I guess that's it. I'm gonna keep directing the survivors, like take cover.
Oh yeah, I mean at this point,
cover fire.
At this point, anyone who doesn't have a gun is either underneath a car, inside a car, you know.
Perfect.
All right, and that's gonna make you Roy. Roy, you're up.
Okay. So he's trying to be witty and shoot and miss, and I'm trying to be not witty and kicking and not doing anything. Seems we're at a Canadian standoff.
Maybe Detroit's in Canada now.
Well, I was gonna say Mexican, but we're much closer to Canada, so I'm gonna take the momentum of rolling, dodging that bullet, and to get back up on full feet. And you said there were pews?
Well, you guys are up at the back where there's like this metal railing and then like a table. And you guys are between the railing and the table. Kind of that's your arena right now.
Does the railing look like I could pull part of it off as a makeshift club?
Sure.
I'm gonna try to do that.
All right, so you just yank off a pipe and you're just gonna, swing away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As close to baseball bat length as possible, because that's comfortable.
Okay, so you're gonna do a fight.
Yes.
He's going to
Plus
use
second.
fight to defend to try to juke out of the way. So it's going to be an even roll here.
Okay. I rolled a 2.
Oof. I rolled a -2. So that you're winning with what? 4 shifts?
1. No, because he's got a
I got
plus
the
3,
plus
doesn't
3.
he?
I rolled a -2 plus 3, so I got a 1. So you're winning with 1 shift. I'm going to go ahead and just take the 1 stress.
Yep. Done.
Okay.
I would like to actually compel that. I don't want to change the situation, but I just want to change how it kind of what Roy does afterwards. Given that he is grasping at former glory, I would like to say that after he gets his swing on, he kind of like then points to like a far end of the corner with that club still in hand, but just like looking at him. Like it's not really changing the outcome of the situation, but it's more like setting up like his next attack. Like I'm about to hit a home run on this next one.
Okay, but how would that create a complication?
I didn't think it had to create a complication. I thought it just changed. Okay, never mind. Take it back.
Might give a boost to.
No, I wasn't trying to give a boost. I was just trying to change
Right.
him going from like this, like I'm just attacking you, to more of like a showboaty kind of thing. But I can take it back. I'll walk it back.
Showboating could create a disadvantage in a fight. Like it gives time to.
Okay, but just for clarification's sake, when you invoke, that's a positive manifestation of, and then when you compel, that's a complication.
Okay. I thought we talked about or mentioned earlier that it was either makes the situation worse or changes how it goes. So that's all right. That's cool.
No, I mean, yeah, but change it in a way that would alter.
Is negative.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Right.
Misunderstanding on my part, so I will walk that back.
I should have been clear.
I will want to extrapolate on that after the stream for like 2 minutes, but yeah,
sure, we'll get back to that. All right, Big Joe, you're up.
Okay. So now that he's crackling with energy, he's going to kind of play on the phenomenon that is surrounding him, and he's going to try and muster up some of the spirits to trigger the electromagnetic field around him to disarm these guards by essentially becoming a giant magnet and having their weapons just like attached to him or like get pulled out of their hands.
Okay.
So once again, using some alter magic.
Are you attacking against mental? Or are you
at this point
overcome to disarm them? As that's.
I think I'm doing an overcome to disarm them.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead.
I guess it would be opposed by their athletics or
physique, and they have a +0 in that. So go ahead. All right, you got a 1. I got a 0. So yeah, you just kind of like boom, and a group of 4 of them, their guns just go flying out of their hands. They don't quite make it to you, but they make it to your feet. They just kind of clatter underneath you, and they're all just like, "Oh my!" All right, so one group has been disarmed. Bill,
Sweet,
you're up.
Nice.
The other one is burning.
Well, there was 3 groups out with us, so
there's 3 groups.
Yeah. One left.
Bill, you're up.
Well, now that I'm up close and personal with at least one of the 3 groups, I'm gonna attempt to. I'm not really good at fighting. I'm passable, so kind of want to try and steal his gun, just like Roy did to the foreman. So yeah, I'm gonna spend this turn trying to steal one of these guys' gun.
Okay. Now keep in mind.
So it would be a pulse fight.
Hang on. Before you do that, keep in mind, because this is a group, and you're not using something like magic, unfortunately. You can only conceivably disarm one of them.
Yes.
Which would mean that one of the 3 of them couldn't use shoot, which might drop their skill, but it might not. Because if the other 2 decided to shoot you, they still get to do the shoot action.
Which is fine, but I would get to shoot.
It's true. So if that's your goal is to get a gun, then yeah, let's go for it.
Maybe try to get a gun and put it to the guy's head and use him as a human shield.
Getting the gun is an overcome, so one thing at a time.
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna try to
get a gun first.
Okay. Once again, I'm gonna use physique, and these guards also have a +0. So You got a 3, and I got a -2. All right, yeah, you're just like action movie style. You just kind of flip the gun, and now you're holding a rifle.
Yeah. I would just like to point out that the avowed coward of the group is just whooping these goons left and right. Whereas Big Boy is having the hardest time with their leader.
Well, I mean, you're going toe-to-toe with the big
I would like
the
to
big
add
cheese.
that right now I haven't even taken a single offensive action that would hurt someone. I've just been trying to avoid getting shot. That's the most. That's the strategy.
Speaking of getting shot, Carter is going to level that revolver from his hip and just try to put a round into Roy. So he's got a whopping +5 shoot. So I got a 6. How is defend?
That's okay. That's okay. I'm defending with athletics.
Okay.
And I rolled a 6.
Wow!
What?
Wow!
Well, everybody's been defending like crazy, but attacking, there's
Fight
not.
Fight me IRL, Carter.
Well, now that you mention it, I think I'm going to invoke. I'm going to invoke the dangerous road. Roy's been doing some crazy shit since the start of this campaign, and you know what? This is a gun at point blank range. I'm gonna give him a +2.
All right.
And you don't have any fate points, so I guess do you already have the number 2 stress box checked?
I have no stress boxes checked.
So you don't get hit by the bullet, but your only avenue in the split-second decision to get out of the way of this bullet is to literally just vault yourself over this bar. So you kind of bruise your ribs and just kind of like cartwheel over the bars. So you're not on the other side of the railing, which doesn't really change mechanically speaking. That's just narratively where you are. You just kind of topple over it and kind of hurt yourself in the process, and that's where the stress comes from.
Probably fell on some broken glass.
I don't know if there's any glass in this room. Is that a reference I don't get?
Oh, well, when you said bar, I thought you meant like
No,
bar.
no, like the bar of a little. A barrier. Yeah.
Oh, okay. My bad.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, now it's time for the.
I had the same image.
Okay, so there's one goon group that only has one guy in him, and I'd like to do him first because his skills have been dramatically reduced. Because these groups, their skill is based on how many are in there. But this is also the group that got the Hector grazed. So now he's down to just one guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he only has a shoot +1, and he only has a fight +1. And that last one is relevant because he's going to rush Hector's cover, getting away from his screaming friends who are on fire, and then just try to take the butt of his rifle and clock it across Hector's face. So he's going to do a fight. He's got a +1. And I'm going to go ahead and roll it. And so you got a total of a 3, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I don't even care what your defense roll is. I'm using my free invocation of you being grazed, which is going to go ahead and put him up to a total of 5.
Can I defend with physique on that one?
Yes, you can.
Alright, I'm gonna do. That's a roll of 3. He's at 4. I'm
5.
gonna
He's
take.
at 5. Yeah.
So I'm gonna. Since I can't use Hector's empty, right?
No, I try to color code it so like, if it's colored to your character, that's your free invocations. Since it's gray, that's me.
That's
I guess
perfect.
I can make it white because mine's white.
Ugh, it's a stretch again. I always use this one, but striving for peace, prepared for war.
I'll
What
go ahead and get
happened?
rid of this because you're grazed. And I just needed to know that I had the free.
Wait, I'm just calculating the options. So he's at 5.
Yeah, you're taking 2 stress
If I 2 stress would be another consequence.
because you
I
only have the
don't
1
want
stress
that.
box left.
So I do want to use my, even if that hurts, to use that on defense. Once again, I'm prepared for war. I'll deflect his hit with the butt of my gun, just out of reflex.
Okay, yeah. So you kind of go into a melee here.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. You've been rushed by Germans back in World War II. You remember what this is. You just instinctively raise your rifle and his butt comes down and you bat it away. All right. So you don't take any damage. Unfortunately, Hector. Actually, you know what? At this point, even though Big Joe hasn't done anything aggressive, he just disarmed an entire group. So the other group sees this magical display. He's already a Joe Light. Second thoughts are no. They're going to raise their rifles and let off some rounds. And you just have to sit there and take it because you've been compelled to only use physique.
I'm cramped. I can't dodge. Yep.
Yeah. So they're going to shoot. This group is unharmed, and they still have their guns, so they get a +3. I rolled a -2, so I got a 1.
Take it
All
with
right.
physique.
Yeah, whenever I shoot Hector, it's like all pluses. Whenever I shoot Big Joe, it's all minuses. All right, yeah, so I got a 1, you got a 2, so no damage. And the disarmed goon group, you know what? They've got the second thoughts. They've been disarmed. I'm going to go ahead and just say they're going to concede. So the way to get out of combat is one of two ways. You can concede or get taken out. If you get taken out, then the person who took you out gets to decide what happens to you. If you concede, then you can change the circumstances of events to be more in your favor. You still lose the encounter. So I propose their concession is they're just going to run away. It's not worth their life. They're going to dive right back in those holes and go home. All right, so that's one goon group that is out. Let's delete them. All right, and then the guards. So there's the bailiff is actually over where Roy is, but he's acting with the guard group. So these two guards, one of them you just stripped of his weapon, and the other one's right there. They're just gonna just pile onto you, and the bailiff is gonna come running over, and they're all just gonna start just wailing on you with the butts of their guns and fists, and they're just like, nah, get this guy down. So they're trying to pacify you in the worst way possible. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll their fight. Their fight is a +2.
Are they attacking me or Roy?
They're attacking you. They're just dogpiling you right now. I got a -1 on the roll, so that's a total of 1.
And I'm gonna obviously dodge everything.
I don't think you can use athletics here. You can't dodge out of the way of someone throwing a punch at you. That would be fight. Because you fight is duck and weave, you know? There you go. All right, you still get... Okay, so with the fight roll, you got a 2. I got a 1. You just kind of like... You block and you duck and you weave and you block and you duck and you weave. And you just, you've been traveling with Roy for like 5 years at this point. So he's taught you a few things. Just enough to scrap by in a situation like this. Alright, and that's going to make it Hector's turn.
Alright. So, the situation, so I'm in melee with a guy, and the last group kind of conceived to Big Joe, right?
One whole group conceded to Big Joe. There's another whole group of armed men, and then there's a single goon in the third group who is in melee with you, trying to hit you with his gun.
That's the one I hate because I can't do much against this guy. I can't use shoot in this range. I could use physique. I could try to shoot the guy.
I'll let him use fight because they're so close. But if you want to just level your rifle and try to shoot him at point blank, then they can use fight to try to bat it away.
I probably have a pistol in my belt, so I would try to trip him.
You have a lot of guns in this convoy here.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna try to shoot the guy, no matter how we explode.
Okay.
That's a roll of 3.
So since he's the man alone, he only has a +1 fight. So you got a total of 3. I got a total of -1. You've taken him out. He's done. So yeah. So he ran up and tried to hit you with the butt of his gun. You batted away and you immediately swing around the butt of your rifle, leveled at your waist, and you just pull the trigger. And I think the Lee Enfield fires 30-06, and you just put a $50 sized bullet in his hole in his gut, and he just falls over.
And I'm gonna roll him away from myself. I'm gonna take my bearings. I'm gonna ask the survivors' positions. I'm gonna take stock of what's happening.
Okay.
And if I see no opposition, we're gonna
There's still opposition. There's a whole other group. There's still 4 gunmen.
All right, I'm gonna take position to shoot them next round.
Roy, you're up.
Bastard.
I'm sorry I made it your turn.
No, this guy, the Carter guy. Excuse me. No, I mean he's getting a metal pipe You know what? I'm not actually. I'm gonna go tactical on this. I'm not just gonna brute force it. I'm swinging very specifically for the wrist/forearm that he's got his gun in.
You're gonna try and overcome to disarm him.
And try and overcome to disarm.
Okay. He's gonna defend with fight.
Okay.
Trying to just yank his gun away, and that's the exact right time.
So I rolled a total of 5 on my fight roll.
I have a +3 to whatever I roll. I rolled a 4, so that means I got a 6.
Dear Lord.
Wow.
All right, so you swing for his wrist, and he just yanks it back. All right, Big Joe, you're up. You know, we don't have any fate points, so it really expedites things.
Roy.
Okay. Seeing as they've now taken a shot at him and he's seen one group run, Big Joe is going to turn to those still like crackling with energy, guns now close to him, and he's going to just once again bellow out, "You should take your friends' action and leave." He's kind of like discombobulated right now as he's not used to being so like angry. But I'm going to try to provoke them to run away.
Okay.
I'm going to be activating my free use of second thoughts, regardless of what I roll. So,
Got it.
As I have nothing in provoke. So,
Wow. All right, you got a
Nice.
5 total. They're gonna roll will, of which they have 0.
With
Yeah.
style, they're gonna shit their pants.
I got a 0. So you're gonna deal 3 stress, mental stress to them, which is going to make 3 out of 4 of them run. You've taken them out. I assume since you're normally quite passive, the taking them out is you're just gonna let them run away.
Yeah.
Tell you what. I'll do you since you're taking them out. I'll do you one better. They drop their guns and leave.
Okay.
Just in case there's time to start grabbing guns, you know, since you did take them out. All right, so there's only 1 shooter left in that gunman group. So there's only out of the 12 guys that started outside, there's only 1 left. So his skills are getting reduced down to a +1. All right, Bill.
So I'm gonna use shoot to inflict stress damage to these. If you allow the following mechanical things, so what Bill wants to do is bring the gun as close as possible to one of the melee fighters' head and shoot to
I think that would still fall under physical stress. If you blow out an eardrum, that's a physical ailment.
Oh, sure.
But you know, the narrative is you're not pointing the gun in their chest and firing. You're just firing it off next to their head to try to. Yeah. Okay, I dig. I feel you, but it's still going to be a physical attack.
Okay, but it counts as shoot. The reason why is because I want to use shoot skill, so a little bit higher than fire.
I think since the method of your attack, it would make the most sense for them to use notice, of which they have none. So that's what I'll do. You got a 2. I got a -1. So
go ahead.
So
that would be a
3 shifts.
3. And how would it look on them? Can I call that before I use any invoke, or should I try to get an invoke to get even more shift before you tell me that?
Right. Once I give you the outcome of the action, no more. You can't invoke anything.
Okay.
Right now, you are dealing 3 shifts.
So just to make sure that I try to take out this group as quickly as possible, I'm gonna invoke one of my free invocation, a surprise motherfucker. They were definitely not expecting me to shoot, but for a +2.
All right. So they're all like grappling with you, and you kind of like do this, like put one hand on your ear and then put the other onto your shoulder, and then you just raise the rifle and just go BAM! And they're all like really up in your grill, and you fire this, and they all just go whoa, and they reel back, and you took them out actually.
Nice.
You get to decide how they get taken out because you took them out.
So basically what happens is since they're all up and so close, they do exactly as you say. So they're close to me. I block my ears. I shoot. For a very split moment, like everything resonates in their head, and they like kind of are taken aback thanks to surprise motherfucker. And thanks to a very short and unused military training, he just used the butt of the gun and just go like pow, pow, and like just knock
Just
them
consecutively,
both
just
down.
doom, doom, doom. All right.
Yeah.
Could I suggest something a little different,
Sure, go
even
ahead.
though it is yours? Because you are in this like tunnel filled with used stuff, and you did take off the shot. Maybe, and this is going to be very cinematic, like if there was like chandelier or something. Basically, your bullet that is not meant to take them out hits something up above, and it falls on them, like caught under it.
Sure.
We can
Unlock
combine the
another-
two. So
Action comedy.
you fire the shot, and they all reel back, dropping their guns, the ones that had them, holding their ears, and then what you shot was like, the gas can of a car, and it just kind of like falls and knocks two of them out, and then there's only one left, so you just kind of clock them with the gun.
Oh yeah, but I'm adding one little thing. For 2 seconds, they both look at each other and like, what? And then, boom! It's just like, I'm not dealing.
Cool. All right. Well, the guards have been taken out. All right.
Very nice.
Carter's turn.
Since when Adam Sandler's is in our game?
All right. So, Roy, you take this like aggressive, like fight me, bro stance, and at first he levels the revolver at you, but then witnessing what happens behind you, he turns and he takes a shot at Bill,
No, I'm invincible.
and he does have a +5 to shoot. So here we go.
Damn it.
Please.
I got a 6.
Fuck.
Concussion plus bullet in the head.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna be good. Please, athletics. I got 3, so let's roll. You got 6, so let's roll 3 pluses there. 3 pluses.
Ooh.
Close.
You got a 5.
I can take that. I can take that shot.
So 1 physical stress.
I'm actually gonna take it. I don't want to use my last surprise motherfucker thing yet. So,
All right.
yeah, I'm
So
gonna take it.
you just feel this sharp pain tear across your shoulder as he grazes you.
Ow.
Perfect.
All right. The last goon out of the entire event.
Oh, I love it.
He is going to, bolt his gun, level it, and you can't hear this, but since the camera's on him, he goes, "Eat this, you fucking giant!" and fire at Big Joe. And since he's alone, he only has a +1 shoot. We got a 0. I'm gonna go ahead and use my free invoke of Hector's Empty. This is the culmination of everything that happened since that ping. Since he ran out of ammo.
Cheater.
So he's gonna get. He has a 2. No, I'm sorry. He has a 3. He has a total of a 3.
So okay, Hector being empty has affected him shooting me.
Right, because it's not so much the moment of Hector being empty. It's the fact that this whole situation is snowballed from that moment of
Okay.
him
We
expending
narratively,
ammo.
it's like we're in clutter space. They've taken good position over myself, which kind of surprised you. You got a lucky shot or something.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure I was following. Okay, well, as mentioned, the only thing Big Joe can do with very limited mobility is try and just take this like the tough man, he's not tough, that he is.
And he still does.
What?
All right, here's how I'm gonna say
Nice.
it. You got a 4. You beat it. So you get hit, but this is a bullet into a 15-foot dude. You just kind of get hit, and you're like, oh, bug.
That's crackling with electromagnetic energy.
Right? Yeah. It's like, that hurt a little bit. It would be like
Hey, it's like you with
like a bee sting.
deer
and that's
fly?
about
air,
it.
air
Yeah.
tag or whatever you played.
All right, Hector, you're up.
All right. So I got a clear shot on that guy. I'm gonna make it simple. Shoot at him.
That's a good roll. You got a 5. He's going to use athletics to try to get out of the way. He got a 2. You take him out.
Is everybody all right? Let's move out. And yeah, that's my turn. I'm gonna make sure the field is secure. I'm gonna leave
Okay.
a detail of survivors to watch over us while we get into the tunnels.
So at the start of Roy's turn. Okay, so Hector, you want to do a free action to move to this first part of the tunnel?
Not really, but yeah. As soon as I can, I'm gonna go help my friends.
Okay. At the start of Roy's turn, Carter is going to concede. All the goons are down. He does not want to die here. So, he's conceding the fact that you guys will basically have free reign to escape. You win, but he would like to get away with his life. And there are 2 non-combatants in this room, so I think what Carter does is he grabs them and literally throws them at Roy, and then just bolts, pushing past Bill, and just escapes. You guys accept the concede?
Yeah, I do.
If Roy does not push, I don't push.
Okay, so he basically throws his last 2 guys, the non-combatants, his kind of administrative pencil pushers, onto Roy, and then runs past Bill, kind of shoulder checking him on the way out. So Hector, as you kind of come into the tunnel, you just kind of see a guy run away. You don't really know the situation. You just see that he kind of looks past and he just bolts and he disappears into the darkness. All right, now you guys have won the conflict.
Yay!
But I am going to offer a compel that you can't deny because you don't have any fate points. I'm going to compel you, Roy.
Mm-hmm.
Again.
I'm going to compel your what's the exact wording here? Grasping at past glory.
Damn
you know,
it.
the last time you won a firefight, you got something out of it, and so I'm compelling you that you don't want to leave empty-handed.
Okay.
You're going to take the time, even though you probably should get away. You're going to take the time to find something of value and take it with you.
I still need fuel.
There you go.
Think about it.
So do you accept?
I have to.
Well, we
100%.
can negotiate it because it is a compel.
I actually agree with the compel. I agree with that Roy would be very, very frustrated at the outcome of this. Very, very frustrated that he walked everyone into a trap. This is his responsibility. He is pissed at himself, and he is not coming out. You said, he's not coming out empty-handed.
Right, and the compel is the fact that you were like, "Hey, man, we win. We get the spoils." That's kind of the attitude you're going to project.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to say you guys kind of regroup in this zone here, as both sides kind of try to check on each other. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's looking pretty good except for Hector. He's got a pretty
I'm
gushing, bleeding graze across his arm.
I just noticed that on my I'm gonna take some time to clamp that. I mean, I'm gonna try to stop the bleeding. That's gonna do anything.
No. Bill,
Yes.
help him get that bandaged up. Joe, come with me. We're not leaving without the fuel.
Wait. But
Joe,
I'm gonna let myself taken care
wait.
of. Yeah, I'm gonna come back later.
Okay. Since the conflict resolved, I'm gonna get rid of some of these situation aspect. The electromagnetic field. This is still the same scene. I'm gonna leave that, but the other ones were tied to the conflict. So, your magic is still active for the rest of this scene, but the rest of the stuff is now moot.
Are the tunnels big enough for Joe?
Yeah, I told you it's 20 by 20.
Oh, I didn't. I honestly didn't hear
tunnel, This particular tunnel is just massive.
Right, Roy.
Also,
I should mention that our guns outside that they're not friends anymore. They try to shoot at me.
Yeah, I know.
What'd you say to them?
We tried to trade. We tried to be honest. We tried to be friendly. They decided that they weren't going to play ball by the rules. So they don't get anything. We're not giving them anything. We're taking their fuel.
I'm keeping this gun.
if Hector is there at this point, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I should, overall, I would hear about our intentions, what's going on. So, I would tell Big Joe, indeed, some people were in charge here, and out of character, I would like to know how many survivors there are. Were they all without family? Were they all without just normal?
The ones with you?
I mean, we've been ambushed by 12 people. How many people are still alive around?
Oh, well, you burned and shot at least 5 of them, and the other remaining fled. So the guys who got lit on fire might be alive, and the guys who shot might be bleeding out.
But there's no woman, children.
No, these would be
There's
able-bodied
no.
men that attacked you.
So we basically fought the whole community.
No,
that it?
not even a little bit. The 12 guys cannot have carved this stuff out. You're
Yeah.
anticipating reinforcements are on the way. You guys are
All
all
right.
on the clock here.
Well, also okay, so more enemies, cause I kind of figured we've beat the leader. We've disrupt. Like most people didn't know what was going on. They were all not all in on the scheme. They're not all violent people. They're not gonna all want to kill us. So that's what I would communicate to Joe. Like most people here are innocent.
Yeah, and we're not planning on killing them. We're planning on grabbing some fuel and getting the heck out of.
Then again, we could they've got a nice setup here. We could talk with them and let them know what happened here, and we could make a change. Like Hector is
No,
just kind of
no more talk. I'm done talking to these assholes.
he's gonna defer to that though, because he's kind of panicked himself. He's lost blood, and yeah. Okay, he tried.
And,
Agree.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I agree with Roy. They are hurting this mountain, and to them, we are the invaders.
And that's gonna convince Hector. He's gonna limp back to the wagon, and well, he's gonna help then.
No, Bill is taking you back to the vehicles. You are getting patched up. Joe and I are grabbing as much as we can on our way out.
All right. I trust you, Roy. Let's do our thing.
Okay, Roy and Big Joe, where are you going?
Well, there didn't seem to be anything in this tunnel because it says utterly empty.
It does say utterly empty right there.
And Carter's domain didn't really seem to have a lot in the way of fuel right then and there. So I kind of want to go outside and just basically start having Joe
Outside or go
flip
deeper?
I should remind you that you guys passed a garage.
Right. I want to go out and
Jacob.
find vehicles.
Yeah, Jake, and at the same time, while Roy's doing that, me and Hector, we're going back to vehicles, right?
Yeah. I'm going
Which-
to add a new situational aspect, though.
Okay, while you do that, I'm just gonna say, can I roll a quick notice
Wait.
as we're walking out to try and communicate via the walkie-talkie?
You have
To roll-
walkie-talkies?
Didn't we say we had for the caravan, or just send?
I remembered we said
And
we
signals.
didn't have.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
And I mean, walkie-talkies back in the 1950s were like a backpack apparatus.
Yeah, you're right. So it would make no sense. Continue, Jaken. You were adding an aspect.
Yep. I added a new this is an aspect for the scene called pot shot slope. So the core fighting has ended, but there are a lot of these kind of Viet Cong hatches where the reinforcements are coming out and they're popping out, but this is no longer trying to contain you. So there's popping out, taking a shot, coming down, bolting around, coming out and shooting at you. So your convoy is now taking fire. You are down the pot. Actually, that's a better name. You're down pot shot. You're down of the pot shot slope. So any actions you guys need to keep in mind that the convoy is taking fire.
I would use shoot to create an advantage, like giving cover.
Okay.
Something like that.
You're getting bandaged.
Yeah,
It's
you are
gonna
getting
be
bandaged.
done once. How long can it take to bandage?
Like you're getting tossed into the back of the station wagon and getting bandaged as people.
I was
drive away.
grazed. It's only a graze. Get off of me. I'm gonna headbutt him and I'm gonna start shooting if needs to be.
Don't headbutt me. You could kill me. I got a concussion.
It's true. He doesn't have concussion. You might cause brain damage.
Yeah, I'm just gonna push him into the next seat and let me do my thing.
All right. Well, you can try to overcome this. It'll be very difficult to just kind of end the pot shots.
No, I just wanna provide cover. Like they're not gonna have the kind of open shots they were hoping
Okay, so you
for.
want to create an advantage. Got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
go ahead and go ahead and do a shoot roll. I'm gonna set the opposition since these guys are heavily entrenched. I'm gonna set the opposition of 4. So while you roll that, Roy and Big Joe,
Okay.
you're going to run over to the garage. And
Yes,
go ahead.
now that we're seeing like hatches open up and pot shots are being done at the caravan, Big Joe is going to turn to Roy and say, "You go on ahead. I am going to deal with them once and for all, and I would like to try and overcome the pot shots by tapping into the electromagnetic field and this mountain being essentially metal. And I'm going to try and like keep the hatches closed. Just like try and play like up the electromagnetic field that it is just naturally occurring here, and just have it maybe just keep everything closed, like so this could work against us as well."
All right, you're okay. So you're using magic.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to create an advantage, or you're trying to You said you were overcoming. Okay.
Yes.
This is going to be a very difficult overcome because you're basically trying to
I
turn the
figured as
mountain
much.
against him. So I'm going to set this to a 6.
6?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Blow on the dice.
All right,
Oh.
you got a
You
1.
didn't blow on the dice.
That's -2.
Yeah,
Gotta
I'm
give
going
it chances.
to spend a fate point to. I mean, this is something that he is thinking up on the fly, and the fact that he's trying to talk to the spirits and basically make right with the spirits. I'm going to say this is a free thinkers are dangerous. As you know, this is not something most people would think of doing, like trying to appease the spiritual essence of a mountain.
Okay.
But yeah, I would like to re-roll.
All right. I accept
If-
I accept your invoke. Yep.
Possible. Okay, here we go. Go.
All right, you got a 4.
There's no way I can only tie, so I can't beat it.
Well, a tie gives you a boost when creating an advantage.
Yeah, no, that's-
Oh no, actually no. This isn't create advantage. This is overcome.
This is overcome.
You could succeed at a minor cost with a tie. You could succeed at a major cost now, but we would have to have a detailed discussion about that. Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm gonna leave it there.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
there's nothing I have for an aspect that would really
what
work.
happens when you fail and
And
overcome? I don't think it's that bad. Failing and overcome. I think failing and overcome just means whatever you were trying to overcome continues. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me double
okay.
check.
I believe so.
Yeah, you just don't obtain your goal.
sweet.
All right, so you extend your magical powers and you really give it an effort, but it does not bear the fruit you were hoping for. All right, so you guys are moving across the cluttered space, and you arrive at the Den of Grease, which is the garage, which I've added to the map here. Right?
Can I just say, in the interim, having gotten back to the convoy, I grabbed the Sten and my baseball bat.
Okay. Just as you round a corner, a hail of automatic fire tears at you. You guys have enough time to move around the corner, but there is a man who has set up underneath one of the cars, and he has I need to make sure I don't say this wrong. It's important to me. Okay. I don't remember the exact thing. I think it's actually a M1918.
Oh, the light machine gun?
No, I want the other one. There. Okay. M1919. He's got a Browning machine gun on a tripod underneath a car, and he's just letting off 30 caliber rounds right up past you guys. And he shouts, "You'll never get my vehicles. This is my shit." So if you guys want to press the matter, which Roy has to because he took the compel, we're not going to go into a small conflict here. So it's just going to be between the two of you, and we're going to call him. You know what? I think I got a perfect name for him.
Flap.
Yes.
What?
And he's gonna have a notice of that one. And so, just here. I won't move the order, but Roy, you're gonna go ahead.
I'm like I told everyone before. I'm done talking,
Okay.
and I'm just gonna
Okay. You just
And
round
just
the corner and let off a burst.
just unload into the general area. And I rolled a 3 on my shoot.
Okay. He's well concealed behind some like cover here. So I'm gonna go ahead and have him roll crafts. He's quite skilled at because he's basically had time to fortify his position.
Okay.
He has a +3 in crafts. It is actually his highest skill. So he got a 4.
Okay.
Okay. So you were using fully automatic fire, right?
Yes.
Roll me 1 fudge dice.
1 fudge die. It's a plus.
Okay. If you'd gotten a minus, you would have jammed.
Yep.
All right, Big Joe, you're up.
This is so he's under a car.
Yeah, and we've actually now established that he's kind of like set up some boxes. He's basically in a makeshift pillbox.
Okay. I would like to create an advantage for Roy by being as Big Joe is quite the perceptive young lad. He is going to kind of like just look through or quickly do like one of those like around the corner peeks, and is going to try and find perhaps either a weak point in the pillbox that would cause it to topple onto him, or maybe like something or like a point for Roy to shoot at that would get rid of his cover, essentially.
Okay, so you're trying to create an advantage
Yeah.
with notice.
Yep.
Okay, it's dark in there. I'm gonna go ahead and set it to 3. Opposition 3.
Okay.
Actually, no. You're looking at the structural integrity of his fortification. I'm gonna let him defend with crafts. Actually, I think I'll let him defend with crafts as a special thing because he's like.
Okay. So we'll do like a opposed.
Oh no, because crafts doesn't have defend. So I'm gonna just say 3. Go for
I
3.
would have loved for someone to be able to defend with crafts.
Yeah, he can defend with crafts because of a stunt he has, but I can't let him also do it against a created advantage. So it's only against attacks, specifically against shoot attacks. So you got a 4. Okay, yeah. So you create an advantage. What do you want to call it?
In honor of his name, we're going to call it Kill Shot.
Oh no, I've done it.
Nice.
Nice.
And you have one free invoke on that.
And I can just rule clarification. Can anyone invoke that? And I just get a free one?
You know, I think
You can give it. There's something said somewhere about that.
Yeah, because he specifically said he was trying to create an advantage for Roy.
Right. I think the way it works is it's a free invocation for you, but this is fate. I'm playing real fast and loose just to make it flow. So at the time of creating it, if you want to make it for somebody else, that's fine.
I would like to make it for Roy.
So this will be for Roy. So Roy, I'll change the color of this. In fact,
And I think that's rule as written, but
it might be.
We're gonna have to double check.
Yep.
I've obviously read the rulebook 3 times, but retention isn't my strong suit when I don't get a lot of sleep.
Well, there's sometimes where a failure, like we've talked about that earlier, can be given to somebody else, but the way it's phrased, it could be given to somebody in your group. But yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. Then that even if that is the rule, great. If it's not the rule, homebrew. All right.
There you go.
So Machine Gun Kelly's turn. He's gonna try to light up Roy there, who's kind of peeked out to open fire. He's gonna attack with shoot. He only has a +2 in shoot. And let's do it. So you got a 3.
And I'm gonna defend with athletics. And I rolled a 4.
Okay. I am going to go ahead and compel or invoke his aspect of combat engineer to give him a +2.
Okay.
Right now you're taking 1 stress. Oh no, actually, since this is a fully automatic weapon, you're 1 zone away. You're taking 2 stress.
Taking 2 stress.
And remember, your stress from the last fight cleared.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Let me clear that out real quick. I'm gonna take it.
Okay, cool. And you're up.
And I'm gonna kind of zone in on that specific opening that Big Joe pointed out. I'm gonna light up again. So with shoot, that is a 4.
Didn't find with crafts. He got a 2. Do you want to compel kill shot to bump up the damage?
Yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna go ahead and invoke kill shot to
All
bump
right, so
that
you
up
had 2 shifts. Now you have 4 shifts, and since you're using fully automatic weapon, he's 1 zone away. You can bump up to 5 shifts. So
There you go.
He's taken out. So how do you do it? How do you take this dude out?
We're gonna go a little bit more gruesome than Roy had initially intended. And it's just one of those, like he peeks around the corner, he sees that opening, and he just steps out like right into the open and just lays in, doesn't even pay attention to what's happening behind the hail of bullets. And when he finally like lets off, there's just silence and a pool of blood coming out from underneath that vehicle.
Okay. And at this point, the volume of fire coming from Potshot Slope is starting to increase. So both of you can give me a quick notice check to overcome.
Okay. I'm
Resources? I said notice.
Oh, it's the same roll.
Okay.
I'll take the 0.
Okay.
So I'm going to
I paid
Joe a little bit of a negative modifier, as seeing now this pool of blood and a hail of bullets, he is in the process of retching, just from this sheer violence. He's not really used to seeing like people get killed. Animals, I mean, that's hunting, but like this is bloodbath. So
Smelling burning
in
corpses.
fact, if you just don't make the roll, I will call that a compel on your moved by music. This is kind of the antithesis of your emotional side.
Okay, I will take that.
Okay, here's your fate. All right, so Roy, you do a quick scan of the room with your 0, unless you want to use your fate point to boost it.
Nope.
Okay, you don't see anything that isn't bolted down or attached that you can take real quick, except the machine gun.
Yep.
All right, you're gonna go ahead and grab it. You grab it with whatever ammo is left in its box, and that's your trophy.
Yep.
Okay, so you run back to the convoy, and and then you guys are getting peppered by the Potshot Slope.
Yep.
Still have no choice about that.
And I take it you're just gonna get in the vehicles and get out.
Yeah, I'm gonna load that into the bed of the truck.
Yeah, but before we go out, once I'm patched up, I mean, maybe I would try to use fuel and bottles to create a smoke screen.
We don't want to waste fuel.
We can't afford the fuel.
All right. I mean, if they have more than we can carry, I would do that, but if not, let's pay it out.
We didn't even have time to grab fuel.
We didn't get any fuel.
Oh.
Yeah, Roy's gonna be pissed for a while.
Hector's... Yeah, he's sad too.
All right. There does appear to be a few of those paths carved through the woods. These oddly straight paths. And so you can take one that you didn't come in on, and then just like go for it, hoping that it's clear the whole way, taking shots. Now I'm going to compel your survivors. I'm compelling their pilgrims lucky enough to be here, which is their high concept. Because of all the gunshots, they're just lucky enough to be here. They're not anything special. They did not take the time to, try to make the most of the situation. They just hunkered down. They weren't able to provide you guys with anything.
Fair enough.
That's exactly how I figured it to happen. Like,
So the only-
save yourselves, protect us.
Right. The only equipment you guys came out of that would be the M1 Garand, which Bill stole, and then the M1919, which is
I actually wanted to make the M1 like my extra weapon at the start of the game, my favorite weapon.
Oh, you like
Just-
the M1? I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what.
No,
I'll let-
no. That's I'm not gonna steal it from Bill.
Okay. All right. Works for me.
There were other M1 Garands
Right.
that got dropped though, right?
One of them, was next to you, so conceivably you could have grabbed that one. Yeah. So let's say
I was just saying that for the fun of it, out of character.
let's say you got
Hector is not.
you got 2 M1 Garands.
Okay.
Woohoo!
And Bill is now using an M1 Garand because he stole this one.
That's perfect.
And he's carved yoink into the side.
This is Bill's rifle. There are many like it, but this one is Bill's.
No, actually, he would have carved BB for Bill Barker, and then he calls it a BB gun, and people are like, "But that's not as strong." But no, he calls it a.
The BB gun.
Get out. Shut up, Bill.
Damn it!
Alright, so thus concludes that scene. I doubt it'll come up, but let me go ahead and reload my 8 points.
I would like to state that I'm very happy that I didn't actually actively try to hurt, and I got out of there almost scotch-free.
That's one of the cool things about Fate, is it really gives you the freedom to kind of play the character the way you would play it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. You guys drive until you hear the kaduk, 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 because Flip's truck is out of gas.
Well, Flips, was nice knowing you, but no.
So you guys, the convoy comes to a halt, and everyone kind of starts piling out. By now, Mount Detroit is still looming in the distance, but you've put enough distance between you and it that you're not afraid of taking fire. Yeah, so I think this last scene will be everyone kind of coming out and Roy walking. Actually, Roy, were you in the truck, Roy?
I would have been in the bed of the truck.
Yeah,
Yes.
so you look over at the the little arrow dial, and Flip looks at it and he's like, out of gas. And then
Yep.
right then you look out the window and the sun is starting to set, and you're in a dense forest, maybe a mile from Mount Detroit, where you just made some enemies, and that is going to be where we call it a night.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Good cliffhanger.
Bill for the.
All right.
I mean, Hector would want to go back to the community and teach them a lesson, but yeah.
Well, we'll find out next week. Thanks everyone for joining, and I hope you guys had fun. We are working on getting this converted into a podcast format. Hopefully, that'll get done before March. I don't want to give a too. I don't want to make the estimate too promising, but we're going to try to get, and we'll start with, of course, session 1. So if anyone listening now, if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're with us live right now, and you'd like to take this on the road, or if you prefer podcast format, we'll be putting Neosoma into podcast form. And if it does well, then we'll probably end up converting Fire and Blade, the previous campaign, into a podcast format as well. And so it's just another way for you guys to stay tuned and catch up if you miss parts. There's been some requests for that from Fire and Blade, so stay tuned for that. The announcement will be made over Twitter, surely, and hopefully next week we'll have the full cast back, and we'll have more Neosoma. So join us next week, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, it looks like it might be a sticky situation for the group.
I hope so.
Take care, everyone. Have a good week.
Good night, folks.
Good night.
Good night.